Make a stand against the undead swarm in World War Z Aftermath. The ultimate co-op zombie shooter inspired by Paramount Pictures' blockbuster film and the next evolution in the World War Z game franchise that has now captivated over 15 million players. Here at Saber Interactive, we are excited about what Aftermath is bringing to the universe of World War Z. In this video, we'll show you what's new in the game before you get the chance to experience it for yourself this fall. One of the hallmarks of World War Z has been the co-op episodic campaign experience set across locations around the world that tell the developing story of survivors of the zombie apocalypse. In Aftermath, you will take the fight back to the undead and find ways to turn the tide for the first time in all new international locations, including Rome. You'll face Zeke in close quarters through cobblestone streets and annihilate the hordes with your fellow survivors in epic battles through the catacombs, the Colosseum, and more. With careful teamwork and fearless combat, together you will fight to take back Vatican City in the ultimate confrontation against the zombie scourge. Join old friends from previous episodes of World War Z in a brand new location with missions in the Russian peninsula of Kamchatka, where you will need to traverse an abandoned cruise ship and fight your way through a blizzard to recover a nuclear submarine. For the first time in the franchise, you have the option to experience the massive battles against the zombie horde in the up-close and personal first-person view. And that's not all. An intense and visceral new melee system takes World War Z combat to the next level, allowing you to slaughter Zeke with unique moves, perks, and all-new dual-wielding and two-handed melee options featuring brutal weapons like sickles, cleavers, the fire axe, sledgehammer, and more. We've also added the brand new Vanguard class. For a total of 8 unique classes in Aftermath, Vanguards wield a powerful electric shield to plow through hordes with devastating efficiency. And keep your eyes and ears open for a new threat. A vicious plague of rats also join the ranks of special flesh-hungry enemies. They require acute team awareness and precise aim or crowd control weapons to overcome them. Keep a lookout or you'll soon find yourselves overwhelmed. To provide our community with more gameplay rewards than ever before, we're adding daily challenges with special modifiers for bonus rewards, so there will always be a new bounty to take on each day that you play. For PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X players, all of this intense action comes at you in glorious 4K resolution and 60 frames per second. For players new to the franchise, World War Z Aftermath includes all new content from World War Z Game of the Year Edition, including the full episodes of New York, Moscow, Jerusalem, Marseille, and Tokyo. Altogether, 23 total PvE maps across 7 massive episodes. An amazing wealth of content. And for our veteran World War Z players, we have you covered with discounted purchase paths to get Aftermath. Online multiplayer gameplay truly makes this a game for the community. And for those who prefer to go the single-player lone wolf approach, World War Z Aftermath will, as always, allow you to play through all episodes with AI teammates, so you don't have to rely on friends or strangers to continue the story. We cannot wait for you to get your boots on the ground once again in the war against the zombie swarms. We will see you and your friends in action this fall in World War Z Aftermath.
I'm just happy to blame JR immediately, but if you insist, we will look at the evidence.
Is it Siegerblot already?
The days are long and the nights are warm and lit with fires.
And it marks the beginning of raiding season.
We still need to finish gathering offerings for the gods so we can earn their favor. With their blessing, we will have calm waters, good winds, and much bounty.
We could all use some combat practice. This has a good weight to it. Competition breeds camaraderie.
Everyone in the tournament must choose a second, an ally to fight by your side.
Warlock, I'm interested.
A new power is rising in Francia.
The Raven clan will answer your call.
Hey up. I think that means we're starting early. Fantastic work. Now.
Perfect.
Excellent. I can hear you. All is well with the world.
Excellent.
So we didn't actually do this with any kind of like pre-technical setup. So it's all good. We can see Drew. We can hear Drew. I can hear Drew. Everything is good.
Yeah.
How are you, good man?
I am quite well. How are you, sir?
I'm devoid of coffee. I needed to make another coffee and I haven't. But we'll be fine. We'll be fine. But other than that, yeah, I've got a few technical upgrades to the stream.
Cool.
Yeah, which we'll have a
We were
look at in
testing
a
those the other
second.
day, yeah.
We should say hello to people in chat. I'm on it. Thank
Of
you,
course.
Cals. Yeah, absolute godsend.
Hi, Cals.
But heck, it's Shap. I'll do, son. How are you? Nighthawk, does someone say coffee? Thank you. Golden Triangles, Unji, welcome, welcome. You and Carl, Mini Flames, by heck, absolutely. Vexmo, hello. Unknown Bagel. Who else we got? Westbrook Drew, he's in chat. Don't trust him. Patch, hello. Lupercal, hello. Welcome, welcome. Lupercal,
Welcome,
your beautiful
everybody.
work here, still on my desk. It literally hasn't moved. I've just been playing with them all week.
That's awesome.
It is. Now, those of you who missed Wednesday was the best stream. No, we didn't do a stream on Wednesday. I was tempted to do a stream on Wednesday, but it would have looked a lot like this. It would have looked a lot like this. So basically,
Oh, yeah.
I got stuck
man.
in some traffic. Should we say some traffic? So this was at 4:20. This is literally 2 miles from our house.
Oh, man.
And
That's so hot.
the evening went on. The sun started going down. Started going down some more.
Man.
It was then dusk. It was in fucking night time.
And you didn't move an inch.
I didn't move an inch. No, in 6 hours. I didn't move an inch. Now, I'm not going to criticize the police on this one. They were dealing with a horrendous crash. There was a fatality of a guy driving a Porsche who it was wet. I mean, as we came into the queue, Cows was behind me on the road, and I rang her to say, just watch the standing water, because underneath some of our underpasses there was 2-3 inches of standing water.
Oh, wow.
I was in a 4-wheel drive, and it was squirreling at 60. So it was just like, yeah, this is getting quite shaky now. And yeah, so this Porsche driver driving southbound lost it, rolled it, went through the central reservation, hit a car coming northbound.
Oof.
And just wreckage on all 6 carriageways. It was just an absolute, so God knows how fast he was going. 60 or 60, but no, it was only 60. I like that was as fast as you could go in this water. You could have gone faster in a boat. It was it was shaky.
Oh man, well, it sucks.
So yeah, my only criticism is that they didn't actually. I only knew what was going on because Cals had got off the junction behind me and circled round so she could see where the accident was. So she was the only one who was telling me what the hell was going on. But other than that, we were given no information. We just sat there for 6 hours.
Oh my god, yeah.
But yeah, no, it was a long ass time. So I didn't stream because that was my entire evening. So there we go.
It reminds me of my trip back from Boston. It was a very similar situation, and somebody went through the barrier, and it was upside down on the other side, and both sides were stopped, and literally people were sitting outside of their cars having picnics and such, because we weren't going anywhere.
No.
For a very long time.
It sucked, but hey ho, it could have been a lot worse. Could have been a hell of a lot worse. So that's cool. So what I've done is more cameras. I've bought myself a few things. So I bought myself this, which is my poor man's Stream Deck. It's also better than a Stream Deck because it's wireless, which means I can run around.
I gotta get me
with
one
it,
of those.
and I can use it to change my screens, and we can go over here because now we have more cameras over here.
Look at this.
So many cameras.
Fancy.
So this is not the same camera that we had last time. This is one of my good cameras. But we also have our close-up camera. Now this is going to do some weird things because I've got a window. I can show you because this is a kind of mobile camera. So there's a window here and it's still kind of daylight. So I'm going to have to get some like shades for that because there's too much sunlight coming in, so its white balance is going a bit freaky. But that's fine. We should probably only be using that for very close-up stuff. But this is nice and mobile. It's on a really long cord. I got myself a 10-meter USB 3 extension cable, so it's actively linky. So it's
there you
actually
go. Yes.
got power, so I can actually get all the way through into the other, like 2 rooms away with this thing. Why don't you get a wireless headset, John? Because I like this. This is like a 400 quid pair of Sennheisers.
Don't ask those questions.
Don't ask those questions.
Quiet, chat. Yeah.
Exactly. So I will go wireless at some point. But that's fine. These are the lids I've got. So so that's cool. I think that's all the big technical upgrades, just more cameras, better ways for me to flip between them on the fly here, which makes my life a lot easier. And yeah, so what are we doing today? Well, we kind of have to tell a bit of a story for this one. I need my thing.
Story time. Hey, Paul.
Story time.
Welcome.
So we need to kind of go back a little bit in time to CitizenCon. Yeah, and we built this little boy here.
Little Jimmy Jam.
Now, the thing with this thing is that it never got finished. Now, why didn't it get finished? Well, because we didn't have time to finish it. Basically, this was for our trade stand. It did go to CitizenCon. It was there in the background. We'll show you some photos of it at CitizenCon. But we started building it before we got commissions to do the Daymar Rally trophies. Shapcap's desk, he's in for ADI. We did stuff for Semcor. We did they were the guys who did the full 8-foot javelin print, but we did the stand that sat behind them. We did Game Glass's stand. We did Pariverse's stand. We did Republic of Laurel. We cut all the stuff and then they put it together and painted it. So, and we had our stand. So it's like we had so much stuff. And in the end, obviously, all those paying people took priority, and this didn't get finished. Oh, thank you very much, absolute star. Oh, if you can take Dirty, that'd be even better. What a star! Oh, coffee, excellent. So this was just for us, and it was. In theory, we probably should have just not tried to finish it. We should have like put it on ice way sooner than we did. But we literally painted it at 3 a.m. the day we were going, just so we had it, and it was just that's why it's just got a base coat on it. It's just literally got a red base coat. There wasn't any decals put on it. There wasn't anything done to it. It didn't get finished, and it's such a shame because this is probably the coolest thing we have ever built. And that's what people don't realize. It is probably the coolest thing we've ever built. And it's such a shame that it's never been finished. It's literally just been sitting in my workshop, pretty much there since CitizenCon.
just like that. I think that's where we put it.
Gathering a hell of a lot of dust.
Set it back. Like, here's a good spot.
Yeah, no, indeed. And it's on wheels, so I do keep moving it around. Yeah. It's pretty big. It is pretty big. It's 2 meters tall. It's not perfectly scaled to the game.
Hold on, I got that guy.
Oh, thank you. It's not perfectly scaled to the game because it needed. This was designed for us to take to events, so it needed to fit in the back of the van we had at the time. Fit in really nicely. It splits in the middle, so there's well, not in the middle. So that bottom section is on wheels, and then there's actually wheels on that top section. You lift it off and put it on the floor, and it's on its own set of wheels, and then you can just wheel them around. Brilliant. It's heavy as fuck, don't get me wrong. It's a 4-man lift to lift that top off, especially if there's stuff in it, but fine. So it was built to fit in a particular vehicle, so the metrics of it are slightly off for practicality, but it is pretty much, it is. I think it's fine to within like 3 inches. I think it's just slightly narrower than the real one. So that's cool. So what should it look like? Well, it should look like that. And I must say, one of the things that has revitalized my efforts to get this finished, along with something else that we need it for, is that I love the new color schemes they've done for them. So these are the ones that you find in Horizon now, which are on the FDL branding, but it still says at the bottom, powered by Covalex shipping. So it is still a Covalex shipping unit, that hasn't changed, but I love this color scheme. I really love this color scheme. This is the color scheme I want to do this desk in, because this is a Covalex desk as well. And I like the blue. I think the blue is basically Intel blue, which is a blue they use quite a lot, because obviously started with the blue that they use for the Saber Raven and all that kind of stuff. So, and I have a lot of it because I've still got loads left over from. It's a blue that we used in the CRG reception to match the blue on the Raven that's hanging there. So that's a blue I have quite a lot of. So that's cool. I like the 3-tone grey. So you've kind of got this darkest grey, which still isn't particularly dark. You've got the F and the top stripe in the F logo, the FTL logo. That's a darker grey than the bottom two, this and the pick-up and drop-off. So it's got some nice decaling on it. It's got a nice combination of colours. It's got a little bit of chrome down here. So it's a nice colour scheme. I prefer it to the old big C and the Covalex shipping and all the rest of it. So the plan is to paint it like that. We've got lights in the top. Cool. So there is a ducket for those to go in, and LED space for the LEDs. But we also wanted to make this a practical cupboard. So these 2 bits at the top.
Practical.
Yeah. So to explain the why practical, the GSS unit that we built, the first thing I ever built, was really impractical. The doors open inwards as they do in games, so the shelves are only half the depth of the unit, and you can only put stuff in the left-hand side because the right-hand side doesn't have an opening door, apart from on the side, and that just lets you get into the electronics. So it was entirely impractical. Now, the only thing I would have ended up using it for, I would have installed an upright compressor in the right-hand side and used the other side for paint. That was my original plan before I took it to Brits&Com, before it ended up living at CIG, yada, yada, yada. It was just going to be in the engine by workshop. So we thought, well, no, this one will actually make it practical. So these two access panels at the top just open on normal like kitchen door hinges, and so do these two at the bottom. It's obviously a weird split because that door's much bigger than that door, but again, they do just open, and then they're just massive amounts of storage inside. So I think I've got a picture somewhere of it open.
But it does match the actual picture.
All the panels are correct. All the panels fit where they're supposed to. There is the maintenance panel cutouts where there should be maintenance panel cutouts. So it is a perfect replica from that point of view, but we've actually made those doors open so they actually do something. That's isn't that nice? I've still got that.
I love it. I know. That's so cool.
So we made
I wish we could have gotten all of them, actually.
Oh, I know. I would have had the whole wall. We're taking it home. So I've got a huge list of projects that I want to do. And it's mainly stuff that are all half-finished things that never got finished for one reason or another, or that they weren't really projects. So that is one of them. We have that rolled up. I need to get it back out of storage, see actually how big it is, because I didn't ever measure it. It's bigger than it looks. I mean, for all those who were at this CitizenCon 2019, as you walked through to get from the entranceway to the other end of the building to where the LAN room was and the bazaar was, you walk down this sort of corridor. In the other side of this false wall basically was the stage and the big audience, but you walk down this and there was just loads and loads and loads and loads of these massive prints of the ships, and they all went in a skip, but we saved this one. So we literally watched them bring the wall down, got a knife and went, everyone stand back, carry on. Just carry on with it. And if we'd had the time, if we'd had half an hour, we'd have cut them all out and rolled them all up. Because,
for sure. Oh my god.
It's not an amazing print. It's an event print. So it's on a fairly sort of lightweight canvas. And the print quality is not fantastic. These huge printers, they are all designed to print things that get thrown in the bin. But we thought, no, we're saving that. Just because we'd done the Arrow, and it was the only ship that was on the board that we'd done a model of. So we thought, right. So I need to get that out and see how big it is. It's so annoying. It's so annoying. But yeah, so we've got them all. We've got that one, and I need to see how big it is, see where it can live. So that's cool. So this was it at the event. We'll come back to this. Does Mr.
Hey, right.
That's us. See, it was actually on our stand, sitting there. There you go. Right. So this is it with all its doors open. So it's got tons of storage in it. Absolutely tons of storage. All the mechanism for it is, I think, exceedingly cleverly hidden in this tiny gap here. It sits flat. And when I say mechanism, the roller door works. It works very, very well. So in this lid here, there is an air ram and a pulley system that opens this door in less than half a second and closes it just as fast, which is slightly terrifying because obviously it's a wooden door. But it does all function as it should do. So when it's open, you have the space. As you can sort of see, we've got it sort of half open here. So this roller door does work as it should do. And this touchscreen does work. You click the pickup, it does the cycle, it opens the door. In theory, it's never worked because we never got it finished. So, also, because Jamesy Boy is a madman, he's also built it with RFID. So the idea was to have crates with RFIDs in the bottom, and it has a RFID detector that needs installing, so it can tell if it's the right crate or not. It's ludicrous. All the animations on the screen work. It's phenomenal. So you see there's different things on it. So I desperately want to try and get it running. So yes, so what safety right? So this is an interesting thing. I've built quite a lot of event style doors and all this kind of stuff, and safety obviously has to be one of those really, really important things because you can't kill people. It's not allowed. So the way that this works is actually quite cunning. So unfortunately, because we don't have it running, we can't show you. That door's actually very heavy, which is the only annoying thing. One of the things I'd like to do in this rebuild is reduce the weight of that door a little bit. And we're also going to replace the air ram eventually. But interestingly, the air ram, pneumatics are one of the best ways of making safe things. Because air rams can work on very, very low pressures. So in the case if you do a door, like a sort of Star Trek door, let's say, you have them running on a track and wheels on the bottom, so they're pretty much free-wheeling. They don't take hardly any pressure to move them, and then you put pneumatic rams on them with maybe half a psi, if that, running into those rams. So you can literally put your tiny little finger there, and it'll close. And even though they close quite quickly, because the doors are very light and they're not carrying a lot of momentum, and the actual air ram doesn't have a lot of power behind it, it'll just stop. And that because you're running those air rams at such a tiny psi, it won't hurt you. This can't really run like that because it actually takes quite a lot of power to open this door. And when it also takes a fair amount of power to get it to shut again. However, the way that the air ram is actually running this door is there's a rope attached to the bottom louver, and that runs up over a roll of fair lead to the sort of head of the gas ram. The gas ram extends, and it's got a pulley system that sort of doubles effectively the drive length of the pneumatics to lift the door the full distance, because it actually lifts it higher than the cabinet is deep, so we had to sort of double the thing like you would on a forklift. But when it's dropping, if you put your hands under there, all you actually do is catch the door. The rope goes slack. There's no actual power driving the door down, it's just gravity. So if you put your hand in the way, what's the stroke on the air ram? I think about 12 inches. It's a fairly big ram, but it takes more than that to open the door all the way, because those louvers actually disappear completely. There's just enough room for it to fit. So when it's actually falling, it's just under gravity. If you put your arm in the way, it will just stop on your arm, and the rope will go slack on the inside. So that's how it's a safe mechanism. As I say, the only issue with it is by the time it gets to the bottom, it is going at a fair lick, and it just bang. It's a huge noise when it hits the ground because there's no foam or anything. It's just wood on wood, and it sounds terrifying. But I have literally put my hand on it and let it close on my hand, and you know about it, but it's nowhere near enough to injure you. A small child may be able to injure themselves in it. So it needs to get better. I'm not saying so. So what are we going to do to make it better? Well, we're going to put foam in it and make sure and try and reduce the weight of the door, because the injury potential is literally on its kinetic energy at that point. So if we make the door lighter by taking more weight out of each louver, then it just gets safer the lighter we can get it. Yeah, a bruise at worst. Yeah. I mean, it's a violent action, but it's really not that bad. Now, the better way of doing it is, so I want to get it working like that. I want to get it working on air like it was supposed to be. I then want to completely change how it works. Take the air ram out completely and replace it with a stepper motor. Because it was built for events where we would have compressed air available to us. Compressed air is much better for events than complicated electronics, because air works every time. It's very dependable, very repeatable. It's always working. It doesn't need referencing. It doesn't need zeroing. It just works, right? But there's loads of complicated electronics running the air ram anyway, so you sort of, well, in for a penny, let's just do it all electronics.
You might as well.
Exactly, because if you've got two systems, you might as well have one system, so then you've not got air issues with a compressor or something like that. So the other advantage of the stepper motor is you can control the speed of the stepper motor at every point of travel of the door. So what we can actually do is as it closes, we can control its speed a lot better, and then when it gets to the last inch or so, slow it down. so that it doesn't smash the bottom. So it comes down quick, and then as it gets to the bottom, just slows down. It just comes to rest at the bottom. So that would be really nice. We can 3D print some parts for the mechanism for that. It will be more complicated and therefore take us longer to do than doing it with the air, because the air is already set up. But it will be a more elegant solution long term to put it onto a stepper motor. And I would like to be able to do other projects that I have in mind with steppers. So it'll be a nice, it'll be a nice sort of way of doing it. Why not make the air ram lift slower? I mean, you can do. You can adjust the speed of the rams with the pressures. I wanted to lift as fast as I could because I want to get it as close to in-game speeds as possible, because you don't want it to it shutters up quite fast in game. The other disadvantage of running on air is if this ends up going into the new Manchester office or gets sold to some crazy fan or something like that, we're not keeping it, I don't think. I don't think it's going to be there forever. We don't have room for all this shit, man. Obviously, running a compressor at an event isn't a problem, because most event venues, you just ask for air, they give you air. So the air is actually really, really good. However, in an office, you'd have to build a compressor into it or have a compressor. It's fucking ball ache. Compressors are loud. I mean, like, this place has air pumped everywhere, but not many offices do. It's more of a workshop type or an event space type thing. So, yeah, putting it over to full electricity will also have big advantages as well. So yeah, crazy fan, I'm here. Well, yeah, an airbrush compressor, I don't think is going to do it, chap. This pram is like big. So I have a box of massive air rams, and that's the thing. The air ram's probably way more expensive than a stepper. Interestingly, I just have a massive box of them. Some of them are like, I think I may have chucked them. I had 1.5 meter air rams, huge things. They were probably like £3,000-4,000 each new. But it's when I worked at when I did my apprenticeship, I did it at a food factory, and basically one of the things we were doing, we moved the workshop from one side of the site to the other. And one of the things we did, we went through the sort of spare parts and threw away all the spare parts of machines we didn't have anymore. So all these air rams were from machines that the factory didn't own anymore. And I threw them in the skip, and then after work went round, took them back out the skip, put them in my car and took them out. Because it's like, it was literally, some of these were massive. It's just like, I'm not letting these things go to waste. They were thousands of pounds and still in their packaging. And they literally sat in my shed for a decade before one evening he's like, we can totally go get an air ram for the Covalex unit. We've got a choice. It's brilliant.
I love it.
Such a kleptomaniac. It's not a good thing. Yeah, the honey. Well, so all I think I need to do, Unji, to be honest, is just at the moment they're pretty much just solid 18mm lats with a bit of a pocket out the back. I just need to be a bit more aggressive with the pocketing on the back. I think that's all it needs, and just do a sort of 3-dimensional pocket on the back. So I might recut the louvers, but you know, I don't think it's much more. I don't think it's much more than just be a little bit more ruthless. I mean, if we got it down to just 6mm all the way around, they'd still be plenty strong enough for what they're doing. So I think it's just a case of, just dialing in exactly. If you ever suggest MDF in this chat again, we'll be banned for life.
Hold on, I get it.
No MDF is
and
never.
No MDF here.
No MDF. MDF is terrible. It's a hateful thing. And interestingly, MDF is heavier than birch ply. So birch ply is 710 kilos per cubic, and I think MDF is like 760. So MDF is really heavy. And this is just me going on an MDF rant now, which I think is what Golden Triangles was trying to do anyway. It would just make sure you pre-second. You don't need to. By the next year, the shutter wouldn't open because it would have expanded by 2mm, and everything would be like absolutely like solid because the MDF would have got bigger. And yeah, no, I've never ever.
It was JR.
Thank you, Shep. I've never ever cut MDF on my CNC machine. I used to cut it quite a lot on my old gaff because they loved MDF because there were 30 people. But I said when I got my own machine, I am never cutting MDF on this because I don't want to die. It is the most it's worse than asbestos. I don't even think is it. Someone told me it was banned in the US, or for.
Oh man,
I don't know. The problem is the glue for standard MDF is formaldehyde based. The particles that come off it are so fine; they're finer than asbestos hair, and unless you get very
I'm just
specific,
happy to blame JR immediately, but if you insist,
Mr. Bath Salts,
Mr. Bath
98.
Salts, thank you.
Thanks for the follow.
That was something I meant to do this week as well. I meant to get the audio so you could hear the alerts.
Yeah, I can't hear.
Because I suddenly realized you can't hear the alerts.
You betcha.
Yeah, so
that's why it's yeah. If I can keep up on it, it'd be nice because you're usually like doing stuff, so I'll keep track of the follows and the biddies and the.
Yeah, all I was going to do, I was going to log the other PC in to a different Discord account because I have like a Discord stream account.
Right.
And basically open up the web browser for Stream Elements because then it'll do the audio and then put that audio down Discord.
Ah, yes.
So I don't really need to do much to get it to work, I don't think. I'd need to install like potato cables or whatever, VB cables. Thank you, Mr. Bath.
Thank you.
Love the name.
Indeed.
So MDF is dreadful. Never use MDF. There's no use case for MDF, like ever. I've never found something that MDF is good.
Not
for.
ever.
Not ever. It's horrible stuff. Do you sell paint that matches the ship? We don't. So one of the big issues we have, we could sell paints in theory, maybe, possibly. The issue that we have with paints is that they are technically chemicals, even water-based ones, and shipping them internationally is a bit of a pain. We have thought about doing basically a paint kit maybe for doing this paint job, which is the metallic ink wash, which is a really simple sort of couple of brushes, this paint, the ink wash, and all the rest of it. It might be a case of we can't only send it to some countries, so we might have to do something clever in the Shopify backend. So if you're in certain countries, you won't be able to order it. So that is a possibility. If you're looking for paint colors and this is a good opportunity to actually go into painting, assembly and painting. There we go. If you go into our Discord, !Discord in chat, you've got an assembly and painting thing and a paint schemes. Now the idea is that we ask people very nicely who have done paint schemes, like Mr. Lupercal's here, to basically put what paints they have used, brands and stuff, in there, and loads of people have done. I love this. This is Nugatin's latest. I love the chrome on this. I think that like a proper chrome freelancer is just so cool. Such a good job.
That is really cool.
And it's a case of ask these people. They're always very happy to sort of like help out. This is an amazing arrow paint job as well. Just look at that. That is so
talented,
cool.
Man. These guys are great, guys and gals.
They are really, really good. This is JRS Ramba, Juniors Ramba. Yeah, I've not seen him in the server before as well. It's like the first thing he's posted. Oh, look at my amazing Aris! Just so good.
Sweet.
And yeah, so it's. The paint scheme. The other issue is there is not. I mean, there's the standard loadout paint scheme, but there's so many paint schemes in SC as well. It's it is quite an awkward one. But yes, we know we need to do more. We could do some like proper painting lists and stuff like that. But yeah, I think it's a tricky one. It is a tricky one. Oh, that's yeah. keep meaning to say this to people. It's one of those things that I realise, and I'm not suggesting that he isn't aware of this. This base looks white. It's just because the peel-off is still on it. So acrylic comes with a peel-off on both sides. A lot of the time, I only ever remove it on the one side. You have to remove it to laser the acrylic in, but I tend to leave it on the other side to protect it. I tend to leave peel-offs on things. So if you get your base and it looks like this, it's because the peel-off's still on. And when you peel it off, it looks like that. So
they look awesome too. Like, I love the way that you have it on the bottom, so it goes through.
Yeah,
you look down through the top, and it just looks so nice. It's awesome.
It lights better that way around. It's because when you light acrylic, like when you've got a pattern in it, what's happening is your light's coming in from the side and it's bouncing off your etched stuff, and it works much better if your etching's on the back, because then it's reflecting off effectively the top surface internally of the acrylic of what you've etched, and it comes back out nicer.
Right.
So experience from lighting acrylic says do it that way around. And it also doesn't get full of dirt either, because obviously when you etch acrylic, it's physically going into the acrylic, so you have a rough surface, and if it's on the top and gets rubbed, you just get dirt in it.
Yeah,
really
I did see the two acrylic panels for the Pisces in the back of that big arrow photo you had.
So that is also on our list.
The list.
Nice.
Let's
find it. Yeah, so these bad boys in the back. Let's just find a better picture.
I got a photo of your Covalex unit with the guy from the props team that.
Throw that into
really cool.
Throw that into the public Discord. And I'll try and find the. I'm trying to find a picture of the Pisces screens. Oh, there we go. It's a bit of a blur. I quite like this picture of the Pisces screens. It's a bit random, but I love the phone in the phone look of that. It looks really nice. That's probably a technically better photo of it.
I got this photo. That's cool.
So there may well be some of you in this picture in chat today. I wouldn't be surprised.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
There are some full-on nerds here.
Indeed. Welcome, nerds.
Welcome, nerds. Look at all those beards and long nerd hair. People may have noticed my hair's got a lot shorter this week. It was getting out of control. So these were the Pisces screens. So obviously the Pisces was launched at CitizenCon, and there's a cool story about these screens. I say cool. It was one of the most stressful nights of our life. So these are side lit with the most LEDs you've ever seen ever. They pull 16 amp DC. They are absolute bad boys. But these things shone. This was full daylight and they were still really bright. They worked really, really, really well. I love one of those screens for the Kraken. Yeah, we didn't do the Kraken ones, interestingly. We only did the actual model of the Kraken. These were sort of like that, but way, way bigger. These things, I mean, you can sort of see people standing next to them. These things stand 3.5 meters tall. There's a 55, so the screen at the bottom down here is a 55-inch LG, and then these things stand on top. And these things are these are 8 foot, and then big stand on the bottom. So they are monsters. I think 3.2 maybe total meters. And we didn't laser etch these. We don't have a laser that's big enough, because these were obviously done in one piece. And the first set that came, we were so careful with them. We didn't want to scratch them because all acrylic. I think they're 10 mil. They're 10 mil acrylic. And so they're not really structurally strong enough. If you picked them up at each end flat, you would probably crack them. Because acrylic, there's a lot of weight in it and it'll shatter. So you had to keep them on the side, and that frame, that there's that big frame around the outside. It's timber, so it keeps it nice and snug, and obviously holds all the LEDs around the outside. But when they arrived, we never noticed there was a problem with them, and until we put them up and fitted them in the frames and lit them. and this bottom Pisces screen here was solid. Like, it was solid etched white. But the one up here wasn't. It was just, it was the company's fault they'd done it. They were like, no, that was our bad. But because we hadn't installed them, we'd had them for about a week, but we'd kept them wrapped up. We'd open them to get, they look cool. The detail looks great, fantastic. Then we wrap them back up again to protect them. So we hadn't noticed this until 2 days before the event, or 3 days before the event or something. And hello, Wyborg. And so it was like, we told CIG, obviously, and LEP, and they were like, that's not good, but nothing we can do about it at this point. That was it. It was 3 days. So we were like, well, maybe. So we rang the guys back and went, can you do another one of these? And they said, well, it's a 36-hour laser job for each of them, and we only have one laser that can do that size. So if we start now and then put it on one of our vehicles, they were in Wakefield, and drive it to you, we could perhaps get it to you before you leave. And we went, do it. Because we really want these to be right, because we spend 1,500 quid each on them. So I'd really like them to be right. I know we should have noticed a week ago, but we were trying to protect them. They were like, fine. So they did it. They pulled it out of the bag. This guy drove all the way to us and delivered them literally as we were about to leave the building. So they went straight into, we sort of like opened them and said, yeah, that's fine. Put them in the back of the truck. So we had to fit them all on site, take the old ones out and put the new ones in. But we have the old ones. So we have a pair of these things with the solid
That's awesome.
thing, because obviously CIG have these, and these are in storage for CIG, and will eventually hopefully go into an office somewhere because they do look awesome. But we have two of them with this thing solid. So one of the other projects is to build. Yeah, it doesn't sound stressful at all. Oh no, it's still what we're doing. 7 other things. Carve the white out of the drum.
Same time.
Well, so this is the interesting thing. I don't know what we're going to do to that, but what I would like to do is build a new frame for them, or frame for the ones we've got, to wall mount them, put something in behind them, just blacked out probably, and then light them, so that they can be cool, big wall art. I want to keep one of them, but then we'll probably sell the other. With CIG's permission. Don't think they'll have any issue with it, because they didn't pay any more money for them. We paid for the reprint. So, well, for the extras for the reprint. So they are ours. So I want to keep one. I don't know what we do about the solid bit. I think we just put it in the frame and light it and see what it looks like, and then work out how we are going to fix it if we want to. So yes, the options are. But the LCD screen, we'd have to get an LCD screen the right shape, though, would be the only thing. But I suppose if we put a black panel on the back, we don't have to. So that is definitely one option. We could, if we really wanted to spend a bit of time on it, actually replace it with a bit of clear acrylic. So we can CNC, we'll put it on the machine and actually CNC out the shape, and then put a CNC out a new bit of clear acrylic and actually set it in. That is very doable. But yeah, then putting a screen behind it so you can be in the cockpit would be quite cool. Quite funny. That would be awesome. So we need to decide what to do with that either way. But so one of these may end up going for sale.
So there was the cockpit that was filled in.
And just on the face-on one, not on the top one.
Oh,
so we don't
really
know why it happened. But yeah. So, but the company have changed their procedures now, so they do different things to do the proofs, because it was right on the proof they sent us, a digital proof. It was correct. Yeah. So it was their fuck up, but just one of those things. So this will be one of these things that we will do and put up for sale. And whoever crazy people want to buy it, it's going to be a case for shipping. It's going to probably be more than the thing, because these are huge. These are 4 feet
They're
wide
monsters.
And don't bend. So they're going to have to go on a shipping pallet. So it'll be a double pallet basically. Yeah. But yeah.
Well, if you the keen-eyed will see the Westbrook Drew polishing one of those panels.
Yes,
Get
in
it
the
ready
intro.
for the show.
In the
Yeah.
intro, yes, you will. Indeed.
It's awesome.
Acrylic is
I
a
love
nose for that. You have to use a lot of anti-static stuff
Yep.
to keep acrylic shiny.
And no no solvents or anything. Like it's all dry.
No, it's just dry anti-static.
So it was like getting all those little fingerprints off. I went, don't touch it.
Stop touching it.
It looks cool, I know.
Yeah, looks cool. Look, don't touch it. Look with your eyes. But yeah, they were so bright, so bright.
Oh yeah,
they are insane. I mean, the driver for this is like the LED drivers for them are huge, and they're like 65 quid just for the driver for these LEDs. So, so that's quite cool. So that's on the list. Where do we stand with this? Well, okay. So first thing we need to do is try and get the tech to work. So the way we're going to approach revisiting this piece and finishing it is get the tech to work, because what I haven't explained is all the technology and stuff was done by James, the Stormtrooper, and he arrived with it on the day from America. So it had never gone into the unit before then. Yeah. So it's like, yeah, so there was not time to try and get these two things to marry up.
Also, I came over from Colorado because I was at a business meeting, and I flew directly to Manchester. I got off the plane and went directly to the center and started working.
Yeah, you certainly did. Yeah. And I think I put you straight to work on like
straight to work. I got my sheet, my JRDF t-shirt on, and got my high vis gear on, and off we went.
Absolutely. There is awesome. No dicking about exciting. On events. Nope. Get it fucking done.
Get it done. I like it. I like it. Oh, yeah, and I didn't even get to see the
I'm just happy to blame JR immediately
until that night. That was interesting.
Oh my god, that place was horrendous. Daggy oh boy. Thank you for the follow.
Thanks for the follow.
So quick 3D printing thing. This is something you need to now buy, Mr. Westbrook Drew.
Okie dokie.
So had our first big, actually not big issue, but issue with the Form 3 printers for a while.
I saw the pictures, yeah.
Yeah, so basically it started making this horrendous noise in between each layer, and then holding the print up for 10 seconds before dropping it back down. And they were like, right, okay, you need to re-grease it. So you print out a tool, which is quite cool. Mm-hmm. I don't know what happens if your printer is so you don't have another printer to print it on, but hey ho, that's in the center one. And basically you have to re-grease the X lead, like the
Roger, yeah.
You know what I mean? The axis, the turning axis.
Yep, the screw gears.
Yes, and this is the stuff you use to always do that kind of stuff with his white lithium grease. Any white lithium grease should be absolutely fine. This is a Canon stuff, so you sort of squirt it onto a bit of cloth and then wipe it down it. But yeah, so and it fixed it first go, dead easy. And the great thing about Form 3 printers is you don't have to take them apart to do it. You just take the tray out and you can see it. So none of this dicking around like the Form 2 is like, right, we've got to take the entire thing to pieces to get to that lead. So and then
you can do the maintenance, right? So the maintenance mode will move it. You can move it back and forth and everything.
Exactly.
Yeah, super easy.
And interestingly, our other one has started doing it in the same week.
No
so it's
way.
now squeaking like a bastard. So when it's finished to print it's on, I will do it. I mean, it's not that surprising because we've been running them 24/7, printing many a thing. But the main thing they're printing at the moment is these. Which is quite exciting. We have boxes and boxes of Carrack. So it's printing printing the Carrack forward sections at the moment.
Cool.
So,
which reminds me, I gotta order my wash.
Yes,
I'm gonna do that today.
So these
and a couple more
23-hour print. So we've got both printers running on them at the moment.
I'll probably get some more of the model resin as well.
Yes, we will need. You will need quite a bit. So we've got quite a lot of these prints. All of these boxes here are full of Carrack prints. That's all
Nice.
Freelancer Max stuff. We're just putting a few more of those in. This end of the workshop is going to look very different because I went to IKEA yesterday and bought a lot of cubes. Why don't you build your own furniture, John? Because bespoke built furniture is really expensive and takes a lot of time. And it's amazing how good cubes are for storing stuff. So we use them for all sorts. I might do a quick video of how to put IKEA furniture together, because if people put IKEA furniture together without glue, you're doing it wrong.
Yes,
always glue IKEA furniture together. Glues and clamps, people. Glue and clamps. Then it won't shuggle, and it'll actually last you forever, unless you, I don't know, lean on it or stand on it. Never stand on a piece of IKEA furniture. It looks like it's made of wood. It's not made of wood.
Not made of wood.
It's made of hope.
Sawdust.
And dreams. And paper, mainly, if we're honest.
Hopes and dreams and paper.
Yes, as long as you're not putting stuff that's too heavy, they're all right. Oh, no, wrong button.
All right.
That one.
Bingo.
So what are the brains to this? Well, I think I found all the brains. I have a very low probability of this working, I feel, because this has literally been sitting in a box since CitizenCon 2019. And it's never been put together to work yet. So this is all stuff that has literally just been sitting in a box. So we have a screen. So this is actually a really nice touch screen.
Yes.
I don't know how big it is. It is a 16-inch HDMI input 1080p touchscreen. Very thin.
Very nice. Very nice.
Super thin.
Yes.
So that is the screen that you'll be able to touch to. This was obviously, it needed to be spec'd to the size it needs to be to fit in it. So that's fine. We have this bomb box here, which has all the brains in it. So we have what we got. RFID reader. This is terrible. Bags of cables. I mean, just bags of cables with things in and little fans and stuff. This will be the actual Pi. So this is the Pi stack with relays on top, because I'll take you through how it will actually work in a minute. Loads of RFID cards to go on things. More bags of cables. So I think that's all that's in that. So let's take those cables out as well, just in case. I don't think we'll get that far with it. So that's fine. So how does this work? How does it actually trigger it? Well, this screen talks to the Pi stuff on screen. You do things. The RFID reader talks to the Pi as well. So when you press the button, it checks with the RFID reader whether the crate you've put in it is right. Although, to be fair, if you're clicking I need to drop something off, it's got to open the door first and then you put something in it. But anyway, if the Pi determines that the door needs to open, then it needs to trigger this. Now this is a pneumatic solenoid valve that annoyingly only you can get these that run on 24 volt. So we have a 24 volt power supply here, and so this will have to be done with a relay anyway, because we don't, these have a bit of kickback. So what the relay is here for is to basically connect up to complete this circuit to trigger the air valve to open the door. Now the way the air valve works is depending on which way you tube it up, air valve open, door opens and stays open until that signal is shut. This will then click back and it'll drive the cylinder the other way. So it's pretty much, if it's connected, it's open. If it's disconnected, it's closed. So it's a very simplistic system for opening and closing. It's just a single connection of a circuit. Obviously, if we go to a stepper, it's going to be a lot more complicated because it actually has to drive the stepper in a program to open and close it. But that is better because we have more control.
Right.
But baby steps.
But that's pretty much, pretty much what I use with FDM printers is a motherboard that has relays in it and to control the stepper motors.
Yes.
It says, go this far this way and this one go this far this way while extruding this much.
Yeah, I mean, stepper motors. You do need a stepper motor controller for it, but all you're doing, the way you drive a stepper motor is a stepper motor has 2 sets of coils in it, and one set of coil only does a half revolution or an eighth of a revolution, depending on how big the stepper is. And you have to send it a signal to do that, and then you've got to send it a signal on its other pair and do that, so it goes in exact increments. So all the Pi is doing it just has to send those signals to the controller, and it's basically a number of pulses. So every pulse is a certain distance. So it's just sending a series of pulses, and then the speed at which it sends those pulses out determines how fast the motor's running.
Speed of the motor move. Yeah.
So they're not rocket science. So just for everyone out there that thinks, "Oh God, Jay, I can do everything." I can't. I can't program these things. I have no idea how to code a Pi. We have the Stormtrooper and Stephen the Geek who do our programming for us. We will get them probably. I'd like to get both of them involved back on this project. So Stephen the Geek would have been doing all the stuff for this one, but he. I don't know if you. There was. The Manchester Citizen Con was not at the usual time for reasons. But Stephen had booked a non-refundable cruise with his family and couldn't move it. Or rather, his family refused to change their entire holiday plans with like extended family as well because he wanted to go to CitizenCon. So he was on a boat in Norway or something during CitizenCon. So James did all this for us. So and James, by the way, is one of the original Game Glass people. Did a lot of the programming for Games Glass. So that's cool. So relatively simple. James made this really, really complicated to make it more awesome. I am a firm believer in the more complicated it is, the more awesome it is, providing it works.
Gotta work.
Yeah.
And Ewan Carr is offering his help as well.
Oh, excellent. Excellent. Well, it's I do like... I've got no chat because you're in front of my chat. I have to work out a way of having chat over here as well. Yeah, just moving from side to side won't help. Perfect. Right, okay, let's power some of this up and see what happens. It could be entirely nothing, but we will see. So, dear. Right.
Indeed.
I'm hoping that all of these cables that are in here are enough cables as well. These were all the cables that were in the same bag. So this is mini HDMI rather than micro HDMI.
Oh, that's always fun to figure that out.
To normal HDMI, because this is an older generation Pi. I think the new ones have mini.
The mini, yeah. I must have an older one because mine has the standard HDMI.
Yeah, I think all mine.
I got Octoprint on mine.
Well, it has a card in it, so we're good.
That's good.
Power. This will need power. I have power here. I can tell this is part of the system because it's got an American plug on it.
Yep.
With a converter. So we have 2 USBs on the side. I assume it doesn't matter which one it goes in.
Doesn't matter which one? No.
Oh, no, we have power. So that's cool. Right, the Pi needs power. Oh, I don't have an actual real Pi power supply here, though. I've just got a Belkin phone charger. So this might break everything, because Pis are really power hungry. But we'll see.
Doing it live.
Pis like, I think they like 4 amps. Oh, we got Covalex shipping.
Sweet. That's a good sign.
That's a good sign. I mean, it's so James to have an actual Covalex shipping splash screen.
I know,
on it,
right?
like,
I love it.
That no one would see except us turning it on. It's just like, no, it's ludicrous. He's a
Thanks,
ludicrous
James.
human being. Hey, there we go.
I think we're all in the same boat with that one.
Yes, indeed. So there we go. So there is. It's a very shiny screen. Right. So we do have in the top corner here the little Pi. I don't have enough power thing coming up. So I did worry about that. It's a touchscreen that needs to communicate with the Pi. doing this when it's not attached to the Pi. So obviously this HDMI signal is not sending anything back. So we need
No worky.
no worky. Right, USB-C.
So it's just a USB then?
Oh.
For the
well, yeah. So all this monitor has is
Okay.
2 USB-Cs and a mini HDMI. So I assume one is for power and one is to send a signal back to whatever we're using. I don't know if I need to restart the Pi. Maybe. I don't know how its USB controller is going to work. Because I know nothing about how these things work. Genuinely nothing.
Yeah.
Plug the things in,
I'm in the
magic
same boat.
happen.
Right, exactly.
Magicy happen.
I still like Dragon Stellar.
I am slightly worried that this is
My
not going
favorite.
to have enough power. I don't know whether it will shut its USBs down or what.
Is it a 2 amp or 2.1 amp?
Yeah.
Belkin theory?
Yeah. The real Pi ones are. No worky.
No worky.
Okay, so let's try and give it more power. So I do have the box of all my Pi stuff. So that is a proper, probably 3 amp 5 volt supply. Okay, so
all right.
let's wire that up and see whether that helps. So
more power. Exactly, golden triangles. I just can't do it, Captain.
Exactly. Now, I think you can put power straight onto these boards. I'm very sure you can. Yeah,
Back to
5
receiving
volts,
hardware.
5 volt on ground. So, if we'll need some jumpers. Which I don't have up here. Right, you're on entertaining duty, Drew, while I go and get some stuff.
Well, if that's the case, then we're going to do VRDF. Go to the website, buy stuff. It's awesome. But yeah, so I don't know what to. I didn't have anything planned. Dancing monkey. Here we are. But yeah, so the 1 to 500 diorama kits. I'm sure most of you guys were here last week, and yeah, those are super cool. I'm really excited about those. The 3.14. Wow. I like the dynamic events actually. Those are really fun. If people are actually being good sports about it, then you have a lot of really good fun, and you can get a lot of people together, and you can be good guys or bad guys. Yeah, it's just like, yeah, there's a lot of 30Ks, there's a lot of issues. I played the PTU for quite a while, and it was really nice, and I was like, why don't they have it out yet? And then you see when they put it out to live that everybody's having problems with it, so it's kind of sucks, but it's part of the process. And every time they put something else, it gets a little better. And Horizon I guess, is just gorgeous. So I tried the Taurus. Yeah, there's no bugs, they're all features. But the Taurus was cool. I do like my Aquila though. I can stick with that. I like to have the exploration kind of focus on that ship. But the Taurus was cool. I don't know. It just didn't seem like it was that great. And welcome back.
Hello. So let's just
leaving is a bit tough, But I remember when they had the bug where you had to go to 650 or 750 away from Horizon to get anywhere, and it was forever. Now it's at least 160, so it's reasonable.
I've not left it yet. I've been in a few times and just not. I'm just more to be honest, I'm a very sad human being. So the first thing I do when there's a new bit is I go around taking loads of screenshots of the new props. It's literally all I ever do.
The new stuff, like all
Yeah,
the
the new stuff.
you
And
just,
to be honest, it's like
I love it.
I'm waiting for the cargo refactor more than anything else at the
Yeah.
moment. So until that's in, I'm probably not going to play much Star Citizen. Because I've not really got a lot of time at the moment. But
Right.
I like seeing all the new props.
Mhm.
Horizon is just gorgeous. Like I say, it's I've
Mhm.
not seen it in
Like
the daytime
hand-found.
yet. That every time I log in, it's
Oh,
nighttime.
it's gorgeous. It is absolutely gorgeous. And funny, I actually did do the plummet since the last time you asked me. You're like, "Did you go down?" I was like, "No." So first thing I did is grab a Taurus and go straight down,
What happened?
and you explode. I exploded at like 72K.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. That's great. That's quite cool. I'm looking
But
forward to actually the pressure being a thing.
yeah, that's pretty good. Like hearing the creaks and stuff, I think that'd be really cool.
Absolutely.
But just like it was really cool going down there because it got all dark and murky, and like you're seeing some of the lights reflect off of some of these clouds as you're going down.
Oh, nice.
Like it just looked really cool.
Because I mean,
So.
that is like one bit of exploration, and it's like,
Mhm.
so it'll be interesting to see what's coming to, like, because obviously it is a gas cloud with useful gas in it. So
Right.
one assumes that maybe the Starfarer can suck it up for refining, which would be kind of cool. I think it makes more sense that the Starfarer can do that rather than taking like Quantanium ore and doing it. Like with a solid thing, I think it makes more sense for it to go gas scooping. But it's like, oh god, so how's that going to work? How are you're going to have to scan gas pockets?
Find the right gas.
Find the right gases like you do with mining, but that, and it's going to be a case of, well, the deeper you go, the more prevalent these gases are going to be. It's like,
Yup.
so there's going to be particular ships that can go deeper to find these rare. That's just
Oh,
really, and
yeah.
just that kind of.
That sounds fun.
I like the idea of
like
it being that peril of, do we dare go any fucking deeper here, guys?
Yeah. And I like it. Yeah, exactly. You just hear the creak and you're like, oh man. But it reminds you of like almost like underwater gameplay or something like that. But the same kind of methodology, but in a gas giant or in space. So I think that type of program or that type of process can work for water too.
Oh, absolutely. And I'm a huge Subnautica fan.
Okay, cool.
I'd love the idea of Star Citizen having, because I've got nothing else to do, just to be able to dive in literally to sort of Subnautica kind of gameplay.
Yeah.
And have that sort of, try and get this camera to actually show something I'm doing.
Yeah. Well, the top down is pretty good.
Yeah. But I've got so many cameras now, Drew. I need to have them all
I
doing
know, it's
something.
amazing.
So there's the thing. So I didn't have time to set it up today because it was a really busy day today. But I want to set up a stream goal for tips and stuff.
Cool.
Because I need to buy some hardware. For us to take this show on the road and get down into the big workshop, we need to sort of take the show. So I'm now 2 floors above the workshop. This is the top floor of the place, and this is where the 3D printing is and all that kind of stuff. But I want to get down to the CNC machine, and because obviously the Covalex unit ain't coming up here. It's too goddamn heavy, and all my tools are down there for doing that kind of woodwork and stuff. So, but I get the feeling that people will want to kind of watch that part of it, the process as well. So we are going to need a lot of cables. Because I kind of want to permanently install cables down there. I've sort of permanently installed loads of cabling in here, so I need to make a list of what I need.
Sort of permanent?
Sort of permanent attached to scene, but it seems like I'd like to get another. I got one of these to see how good they were. These are 10-meter USBs, and they actually work really well. They're like 20 quid. But I want to route it through the CNC machine through its cable ducting, so that we can get a camera mounted actually on the head of the CNC
On the
that will
head,
follow it around as it moves.
That'd
It'd
be
be
cool,
cool.
yeah.
I need to. That PC down there is going to have to come with us downstairs, and I'll do an NDI link back up to this one. So I need to get some decent Cat 8 cable or whatever we're up to on Cat cable to try and just pipe it through my network and my switches in a way that is the best for network load. And so the NDI link doesn't kill the stream, because we're having issues with that last time we tried it.
Right. Okay.
So,
are you doing a JREC giveaway today?
oh yeah, we could do, couldn't we? That's
Yeah.
totally something we could do. That is totally something we could
Yeah, I
do.
definitely agree with Engineer and Brumus. Like I liked it so much better when you had to, you quantum close, but you still had to fly down into the atmo, and then you got the cool like fiery effects going into the atmosphere and stuff. That was a lot more better.
Yeah, and I think the
Indeed.
Let me just check we've got everything set up. Oh, we'll do it for 30 minutes.
All right.
Cool. There we go. So 250 JRX again. We do have some posters. The artwork prints the Invictus stuff, which is currently on the JREC purchasables for 250 JRX. So they are winnable. We've got lots of new artwork coming as well that we've got into CRG. Hopefully they won't have an issue with them. Some really cool posters.
Really exciting. Yeah, that's going to be some fun stuff.
And it'll get to the point where it's like, even you mad bastards that have like 1,500 JRECs, you still won't be able to afford them all. So you're going to have to pick and choose.
You
so giving away
or buy more stuff. I mean, that's fine. You can do that too.
So giving away more on stream and stuff will be cool. So that's cool. It just gives us something nice to give away. Right. So I can't see us ever giving away any of our builds, just because they're going to be too goddamn expensive to make.
Yeah, right.
Someone said, I should like finish the Covalex unit and give it away. It's like, no. It's like,
nope.
It's like $5,000. Like, I'll give it away for $5,000.
Yes.
Some serious work and money has gone into that. Right. So,
yeah, I think it'd be a lot more fun too if you could do the spline jumps, to like, hey, the space station, or things like that, where it's just like, why don't you just do that? And you don't, and I don't understand why it's like, hey, there's a big star in the way. Why don't you just plot a course around it? If I want to go to Hurston or wherever you're going in the solar system, it should be pretty easy to get there if you don't have to go a straight line. You know what I mean? So.
No, and I think it'll be interesting when things start moving in the solar systems and the actually orbital mechanics. That will make a big difference to that kind of stuff. And
right.
I think yes, I did love the atmospheric effects of going through atmosphere and all that kind of stuff. But saying that, when you're trying to do missions and stuff, it does make your life a lot longer if you've got to spend 20 minutes flying down to every place.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. Perhaps they could have like quantum corridors.
Okay.
So when you want to go down to like a big place like New Babbage or something, you could quantum to the space station above it. I'm sure they had images of this sort of thing. And then you effectively have a quantum corridor that goes down to New Babbage. It's basically a safe route to quantum right down to, where we get to now. But if you're going to a small place that doesn't have that kind of assistance, like targeting assistance or whatever you want to call it, you can't really quantum in that close, because you
like
risk
air traffic
blowing
control,
up or
right.
And there also might be a thing of the other way of looking at it is it might be a case of, oh well, depending on what gases the atmosphere is made up of depends on whether you can quantum through it. So there might be
Oh, yeah.
some moons and stuff. It's like, no, this isn't safe to quantum through. Like we have quantum sensitive cargo. It's like, this is not safe to quantum through. It will fucking explode if you come out of quantum
Don't
in
do
this
that.
gas.
Yeah.
A bit like Firefly styly when they like kick the drive off in the atmosphere and just burns the atmosphere.
Burns the whole atmosphere. Yeah. That's cool. Yeah, that's a great way to put it.
So perhaps there's something like that. You would just you blow the atmosphere up in certain places because of the quantum
reaction.
drive opening a quantum corridor, whatever the fuck it does.
It reacts poorly.
Yes. So perhaps, and then you could get it so that, well, terraformed planets, because they don't have those dangerous gases in the atmosphere, you can quantum down to those, but a lot of the others, moons and stuff, you can't.
Right. Yeah.
And I think that might be a nice middle ground.
I'd like that. I like that because it has some basis and like for reasoning, you know.
Yeah, for reasons.
Reasons.
Because you sort of think, well, quantuming into certain high volatile atmospheres. I could see that, and a bit like with Origin, it's like, well, you can only quantum this close. If you quantumed further down pressure wise, you'd have a fucking issue.
You'd have a major issue, right? Exactly. Yeah. Catastrophic explosion of all the oxygen in the atmosphere. Not good.
Or just a huge explosion of the gas near you, and they can just have basically like a bomb going off next to you.
Yeah. Yeah. Neat.
Excellent. CRG, I'll give you that one for free.
That's a free one. Yep.
That's a free one. Can send that to CRG right now. Print it. It'll be fine.
Right away. Yes, I'm sure they'll get right on it.
Yes, I'm sure they will. What JR said. That's great idea. It's all right. They don't listen to me. They still haven't given me my ability to export the DNA codes for your character, so you can save your character customizer.
Yep. Leela would love that, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, absolutely. She'd just get people to send her photographs of
what they want their character to look like,
and she'd just sit there with the character customizer and then send them the code for it.
Yeah, I think that'd be a really cool engineer. I'm totally looking forward to that. It's been a long time coming. I don't know when they set the motion and it's like ting, it starts spinning. But
what's that?
Really
Sorry,
cool.
I can't see chat.
No,
so you'll have to.
The solar system. So engineer says, "Me too, JR, with different orbital speeds. I think it will be really cool that Microtech could be close to Crusader during parts of the year, and super far away other months."
Absolutely, and it'll affect Quanta so much because at certain points you will have planets that are very close together, and the trade becomes a lot cheaper. And then other times they're opposite ends, and only the biggest freighters can actually make it in one jump, and therefore that will completely change, the cost of transport between those two places.
And that would also make it dynamic too, especially as a hauler. If you say, "Hey, let me figure out the correct routes," you can say, "If I do these routes as it's spinning, you're keeping all the most efficient routing possible because of the movement of the planets, on the moons." So I think that'd be really fun and interesting gameplay because, if it's, I got this one route that's super profitable and just keep doing that over and over again, it's kind of boring, right?
Yeah, that's it. And it's like, you've got, obviously Quanta is shifting a lot of other stuff. Okay, so we have a bigger power supply now.
More power.
More power. So we've daisy chained these, so we've got both our 24 volt and our 5 volt power supplies running off one system. So that's cool. So I need to plug all of this stuff back in. I say, I have no doubt that this may not work. We might need James. Unfortunately, is at a lucky boy that he is at a cool Renaissance fair today.
Oh,
so we don't have his technical support.
I see.
Which would have obviously, he would have gone, "Oh no, Joe, you just need to click this button."
That was fine. It was fine. You just had to do that.
That's fine. But it's sort of, I will try and get him on the horn for the next day, or he could just talk it through. Then I can look like I know what the fuck I'm doing next time.
I was waiting for it, Paul. I was waiting for the.
So the only qualification I really have is an electrical mechanical engineer. So hopefully I don't fuck things like that up too badly.
Right. You got that down pretty good.
Yeah,
yes.
that's my only formal qualification. Okay, so we no longer have the little power symbol. So this now has enough
no power dealing.
Still is doing nothing from a touchscreen point of view. So, but we've ruled out the fact that it's the power draw. So I say a lot of the time when we've done quite a lot with Pis, when it has a power issue, it doesn't like to do stuff. So I'm going to try. I don't think it should matter which USB this is plugged into.
Excuse me a moment here.
Other things I can try. Different cable. I can't see that it needs to be...
If you don't mind, I'm going to run and grab a beverage.
That sounds like a plan.
All right, I will be right back.
I am going to think about what to try next.
All right, sounds good. I'll be right back.
I shall come over here so I can see chat. So yeah, switch USB pillbox transmitter. Yes, we shall try that. That's a good shout. That's like, and I'll find another USB cable when Drew comes back. I won't abandon you all. And we'll just see whether that helps. Which model? Maybe it should put into the first USB port. So it's got 4 ports on it. It's got 4 ports. Which one is the first one? I think it's a B+. If my memory serves, we shall have a look at the underneath and see if it says anything. I mean, it may be that we need the other stuff attached to it. Is another thing, because obviously we haven't got the RFID chip thing attached to it or anything. But you sort of think, well, should it need all of that stuff? I don't know. You see, while we're looking here, whether I can find any other useful information out. Oh, Drew just sent a cool picture there. I'll have a look at the cool picture while he's not here. This was us at the very end of the. It's now disappeared. Oh, I need to open it somewhere else, don't I, so we can zoom in. There we go. What a right bunch that is. That's an awesome picture. I like that. So we're just looking at the picture you'd sent me. What a cool picture that is. We look quite tired, but pleased that it's over, I think is a good description of that. Yeah. That's some tired people. So obviously Drew on the left, Cal's, Leela, Rye, good old Bob, my old truck driver. He now lives in Canada, and me. But yeah, that was a tiring day. A tiring day to be sure. We have no audio from you, Drew. You're talking away, and I was ignoring you because no one can hear you.
Well, that makes sense then.
Yeah, makes total sense. Fuck you! We're not listening to you.
That's funny. Anyways, well, cheers.
Indeed, cheers indeed. What are you drinking?
I have from Northway Brewing a Perfect Day Pilsner. It is quite delicious.
Right, so
and refreshing. Yes. I was like, well, if I had a drink of water, and I'm like, you know what? I think it's time for a beer.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah, I can't see what generation Pi this is. Okay, so let's try swapping the USBs. Shall just try lots of things.
What's the trial and error going on? How's it happening?
I need to go and I'm going to go and get another cable.
Okay.
Let's completely turn on and off again. Just let everything reset. I will go and find another USB cable to connect the Pi to the screen. And just in case it's that cable that's fucked.
Okay. Troubleshooting 101. Everybody, get into the raffle. Use !raffle. It is for 250 JREX, and that allows you to buy cool stuff on the website, which I'm giving you now. Ooh. How's everybody going today? What do you guys think about 3.14 overall? I mean, Bart and I, we had a lot of fun yesterday. That was for sure. We just had our fun ruined by some infantile children. But other than that, it was a blast. We had a great time. So I'm looking forward to when we can do more of those kinds of events and just get together and have a ton of fun. So yeah, very cool stuff.
Nope.
Yeah, I'm sure. Just reach out to JR on the Discord. I'm sure he'll be happy to help. Happy for the help.
Who's helping me with what?
Ewan Carr. He said he can look at the code for you if you like.
Oh, nice.
But he's been drinking and can't spell properly.
That's cool. Yeah, so I will try and work out how to show you the code. Let's get rid of this cable. Make that go away.
Now, the only thing that you really are looking for is it to change and say it's accepting or
doing something.
Sending it. Right.
Doing
yep.
something. Ideally,
thing.
we should hear a click. So the theory goes that this thing has this whole RFID chip thing, but it wouldn't get to look at the RFID chip until the door is opened. So the first thing this should do is open the door. Now, opening the door, we should see something happening on the screen, and we should hear a click from one of these relays.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Because that's it triggering the door release.
Mm-hmm.
And that should be the same for pick-up or drop-off. Because it should, first thing it should do is try and, so, no. See, I mean, this to me just says that this screen is not sending the mouse information. I'm not being dumb putting it in the wrong bloody thing, am I? Can't see any other sockets on it. But yeah, either way, it should be some kind of mouse input. That would be the other option, is plug a mouse in and see if we can do it with a mouse.
Ewan says the Pi should respond to the touch input and change the UI. Yes.
Yeah. I wonder whether, I assume James turned off the visibility of the mouse so that you don't see it. So I can't even see.
Oh, that's interesting, Unji. He said he was talking about 3.14. He says, I haven't had much time to try out the new combat since PTU. In PTU, gimbals couldn't lock on anything. It's interesting. Because in PTU, I was flying in a Hurricane and just having an absolute blast. Like, turrets just crush things.
Oh, nice. I want turrets to be good. Fun. I really want turrets to be good.
Me too.
See,
and when we were rolling around in the 890 yesterday, and it felt real fun because we were in the, we had quite a few people and we had all the turrets firing, and it was just fun. Like, ships exploding left and right, and it was just really cool. It was a really cool experience,
And stuff with turrets should be hard.
Right.
Should
exactly.
Be... Right. Let's grab this. This is like next level stuff now.
Oh man, next level. What is this?
Well, so this is the module for the RFID.
Okay.
I have no idea how we were supposed to attach it.
Okay. That's exciting.
Or where this goes.
Yep, exactly, Bart. It was so much fun until that happened.
Right, let me get a
But
mouse.
okay. But I also feel that it is a major concern. CIG, I'm sure, is paying attention to it, but we had a lot of good discussions about it and what emergency protocols or something, because obviously if you have a capital ship and this little ship kind of bounces into you, it's going to take out it's going to take some damage for sure, but it shouldn't explode the whole thing. So I don't know. There's a lot of ways to do that, but you're always going to have people that are going to exploit that if that's the case, no matter what. So it was just too bad we had 2 in a row. It's like, come on, guys, get good. But yeah, definitely let me know if you're doing another one, man. That was a ton of fun. So yeah, it's exactly right, Unji. The multi-crew is a blast. The turrets are really effective. I was disappointed that you couldn't really target the torpedoes and things like that with the turrets, because that would be really cool to shoot down the torpedoes. But yeah, it was. We had a bunch of targets. We had a bunch of bad guys. We had a bunch of good guys. We had PvP. We had PvE. Like, it was, all the things were happening, and it was a blast. And it gives like a multi-crew ship. Like, if you have friends and you have all those turrets like running, it gives people pause for sure.
Okay, so interesting. My mouse is doing something to the screen. But
Okay.
because it is...
I'm just happy to blame JR immediately. But if
Total
you insist,
midlife crisis.
we will look
Thanks
at
for the
evidence.
follow.
So the only slight issue is because the mouse is invisible. I have no idea where it is on the screen.
Oh, it might be NG. I don't know. I was trying to target the torpedoes and we couldn't. I thought so too. Maybe I was just doing it wrong. Could be. Oh yes, you're doing stuff.
Yeah, not the stuff I want to do.
No,
not
quite.
A mouse mat, because I know this vinyl is awful as a mouse mat. Oh, I saw a mouse. Right, my mouse is there. So,
Aha!
Did a thing. Right,
I
so
see.
There we go. Request not found.
Hey.
Look
Did
at
you hear
that.
the click?
I hear a click, and it also has a active light on.
Oh, a light. Yep.
To show
Yep.
you when it's. So
very
if we
cool.
Put this camera on here.
Yes, neat.
So that little light there. So there we go. So I'll do that again. So drop off. So it's doing its animation to say please stand by, and then it kicks this in. There we go.
Yeah, I heard it that time. That's cool.
Drop off shelf now available. So that's it. That's it opened. And
then you put it in there.
Waiting for a certain amount of time, and then the door closes and kills you. So it's literally so it's the touchscreen thing. So it's the touchscreen not talking. That's interesting.
Right. So the touchscreen, you might need to calibrate it too. The touchscreen.
Yeah, I don't know. But okay, that sounds like that could be fixed. I don't know. But fine. So we at least have.
Well, we got functionality, so you know that it could be a pretty simple issue to get the touchscreen functionality working, right?
Yes. And this whole animation is just fucking epic. I love
know,
it.
it's amazing.
And it's got sound. I don't think you can hear the sound, but it has sound as well, 'cause coming through the HDMI and coming out of the little speakers in this. But it's also got a mic output, so we can actually put bigger speakers in the actual unit. So all the sounds are right. James actually got the sound files from the game, so it sounds
So
fucking
cool.
perfect. Because he is a
Sounds like-
legend.
So Unji and Lurtsec both said to hook it up to a PC to see if the touchscreen is working.
Oh, what a good idea. What a good idea. And look, I've got a massively long...
Well, what do you know?
What do you know? I've got a massively long USB. Will it be massively long enough? That's the question.
That is the question.
Just about. What a good idea, peeps.
There you go. Thanks, chat.
Right. Let's turn that PC on.
Almost. Somebody said that earlier. Almost.
Almost what? Like I know what I'm doing? Fuck no.
Oh, they probably told us to connect it to the PC a while ago.
All right. Okay. I'm not taking responsibility. Drew's looking at chat.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah,
Where's the ban button? Hold on.
So that's doing nothing on my screen. So let's see if we can detect it as hardware. I mean, how would that even work?
Oh, just the comms issue? Yeah.
How would that even work, people?
Oh yeah, so I tried to find the photos, but it's actually on my other PC. It's on my work PC. My JRDF computer, as I call it.
Nice. Mooses.
Oh, that's a great idea. I just had a really good idea.
Go on.
So they have a really cool guy around the corner. It's called Buffalo Big Print.
Right.
And he did the custom vinyl print that I had on the back of my RAV4, which was the Star Citizen, whatever that thing is called. So, it's, RAV4's got the tire in the back. I was like, it'd be really cool, Star Citizen on that. So they did it for me. And I got a couple of them because I knew I was going to screw it up. And yeah, I mean, it turned out amazing. I really loved it. And it was very, very, very reasonable. So I am going back to him for some more vinyl cutting because he kind of does it on the side personally. And so he's like, yeah, I'll give you a good price, just, I'll send it with your other prints. And I was like, sweet. So I did some other prints with Buffalo Big Print, and then he got me the vinyl stuff. So it worked out really well, and I'm going to do that again.
Oh, nice. So
what I'm going to do, the idea, because I just said that my workstation is my JRDF machine, I'm going to get JR plus D, is it D plus F? JRD plus F?
Yes.
I think it's something like that. The logo that's on your shirt right now is going on my computer. Yeah,
I do actually have it on Cal's computer on my old. I actually have vinyl on my old rig.
Very cool. Very cool.
Me and Drew.
That'll be in the background. So.
Me and Drew have been talking at length about t-shirt printing, haven't we?
Indeed.
I'm trying to get you into Lee Stewart. If anyone out there hasn't watched Lee Stewart's YouTube channel, you should go and do it. He is a fucking legend. He is very much akin to me, I think. He is, and he said,
just like do it.
Yeah, just fucking do it.
Figure it out.
Yeah,
I love it.
Buy all the stuff and just do it.
Buy all the stuff and
he did spend like 50 grand, didn't he? I borrowed it all and bought all the top end t-shirt printing stuff, like screen printing rig, full rig, and just.
But some of those prints he did look so good.
Some of the stuff he's doing. He set the shop up like 2-3 years ago now, but it's fantastic. If you go into his screen printing playlist, go all the way. In fact, Drew, can you throw those 3 videos in chat?
Yep.
Because there's 3 videos that are right at the beginning of him, not have his YouTube channel, which is why they're a little bit harder to find, because he has this brand. He's a motorbike rider, and he had this brand 38 something, and basically he was really unhappy with all these t-shirts he was having made because that's where he was making his money. He's selling these t-shirts. So he said, no, I'm going to do it myself. I did like a year of research and bought all the gear and set up a shop in his basement. And I mean, it's just these 3 videos are basically him just screen printing for the first time. And it's just
fascinating,
crazy,
absolutely fascinating.
So I am getting something. Yes, I've just clicked on things. I am clicking on things.
We'll do. So you just really need the first one because they all lead into the next 2 or 3.
Right. So that definitely did something coming out of that USB port. So.
Got that out, guys.
Ah! So, it was a combination of shit cable and the wrong port.
No way! Oh, that's too funny. That is really too funny.
Now it's working.
Now it works. Look at that.
There you go. Let's try.
See? Troubleshooting 101 right there.
Yep. Let's just check it works without a mouse attached.
Called winning.
Oh, the winning.
Indeed. Yeah, so let me know if you guys can go to that link. It looks kind of funky to me, but whatever.
We send you to the funky places of the interweb.
Funky interwebs.
Cool. Right. So that is now working. So what's next then? I'm actually surprised we've got this far. So what is next? Right. Next is to attach this to the solenoid.
We turned it off like 6 times, Ewan. Come on.
So I get it won't really do anything, bizarrely, but we can attach it to this. The reason I say it won't do anything, we will hear this valve going, but obviously we've got no air. Oh, we could attach air to it. That'd be kind of
it.
Okay, so we're going to run air supplies in now, but hey ho, why the fuck not? Right, so let's get it wired.
We don't half-ass anything here, guy.
Absolutely. Oh, right. One thing we do need to do to turn that off, and then we'll turn it back on and check it still works. Always repeat. So that's our 24-volt power supply. So this needs, so it's the middle relay that we were triggering.
Okay.
So we've got common, normally closed, normally open. So we want this to be normally open for this experiment, anyway.
Okay. Because open closed.
What?
Sorry.
Yeah. So
open valve means closed door.
So that would depend on literally which ports you put onto the cylinder. So
gotcha.
That's not determined. What we are determining is that the solenoid in the in here only triggers when this solenoid is open. Because it's that whole thing of, do you want the door to normally be closed? Because otherwise you end up with a situation that if you lost power, it would actually open the door because the solenoid valve would kick. And
Right. That makes sense. Engineer says, or have all the personalized hanger furniture and display cabinets for the Taketsu models be JRDF. I agree 100%.
Yeah, I like the fact that we started some fan fiction in the server the other day.
Yeah, that's awesome. Oh, and also the it was the GSS unit, not the Covalex unit, but the GSS was you did all that, graffiti and stuff on there, and aren't the guys putting that in the game now?
Are they? Oh,
they're trying to. Something like that.
We should totally. I mean, to be honest, I don't know what's happening with that rig. Again, I'd like it to end up in the office. It is a bit crazy now. It's all graffitied. It may end up back in the game. I know it is in the game, right? So the GSS unit is it is still in the game, but it's not used for anything. But it may well, when we get more physicalized inventories, and you want to be able to take your spacesuit off, you're going to have to put it in a spacesuit locker. Otherwise, you're going to have to carry it the fuck around.
Which is going to be annoying AF.
It really is, yeah. So, So there's a certain argument to say that the GSS unit is probably going to come back into favor and actually be used for
Agreed.
that exact sort of
Mm-hmm.
purpose. And when they do that, they will probably rebrand it, revisit it, repaint it, shit like that. So
Mm-hmm.
we might end up repainting ours, just for shits and giggles. Which would be quite cool.
That'd be really cool to go along with the Covalex unit.
Yeah, be interesting to see what kind of colors they do it in.
Yeah.
Because they tend to do high-tech color schemes for these more high-tech like zones.
Mm-hmm.
Even though, say, if they don't change the asset, they still change the color scheme of the things.
Uwinkar says JRDF is greater than Taketsu. Agreed.
Well, so in our fan fiction that people were making up in the server, Takatsu is just like, after my disappearance in 2975 or something, they started copying our models, and they're just cheap recasts of our models. So, and over the years, they get worse and worse and worse.
I love it. Oh man, I haven't read this. Is this in the is this in the Discord?
Yeah.
Nice. That's amazing. Keep it up, people. That's
like,
fantastic.
So the thing is, we need to decide when JRDF is, because is it a current, JRDF kind of needs
It's
to be
definitely
in current
fiction
time,
now, so.
like current game time, because of the
2951 for sure.
Yeah, exactly. So it's got to exist in sort of in game. Right. Kaboom.
That's why we use Covalex.
Exactly. Right. So this also has a red light on it. So if we do that, oh no, then we can't see the screen. So if we do this, so bright down here.
I do like your super mic stand converted to camera
mic
stand
conversion. Yeah, there's so much light here.
Yeah, those 920s aren't exactly great at light balance.
They're really not. I wonder if I've got it on auto light balance or not. Let's have a look.
Yeah, there's not much I can do about the lighting here, so
yeah, you're not at home. You should.
I am not. Yeah, exactly. So I do what I can, and that's why I'm sitting here in my prospector, which you guys can see.
Absolutely.
Hanging out in yellow. But yeah, it's as long as it works and as long as you guys can hear me, and it's all that counts. So, holy trucker, that's it. Oh, that's a good one, Unji. He's always wanted a dream to go out and be a holy trucker. JR leaves.
No, that's not really helped. Anyway, just go with it. Right, so does this still work? It does.
Yes.
And it does. So that's now triggering the relay here as well. That is now lit up.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
So I guess we need some compressed air now, do we?
I think so.
Is that what's happening?
Mm-hmm. Would be the next step.
Would it indeed? Right, okay.
This doesn't look complicated at all.
Right. How do we get some compressed air into this then? So that's got 6 mil piping on it. I can bring we've got some piping. So we have some 6 mil piping.
All right.
So we need to put an end on this. One moment. See, this I was not prepared for. I really didn't think we were going to get this far down the line. So,
well, that's a good sign then.
Oh yeah.
They're winning. Now I see the valve connections. Basically, those are just like those little push-in guys.
Yeah. So these are quick release things that go into standard quarter BSPs. Right. So I'm going to have to leave you again and go and get some airline stuff.
All right. Sounds good. you guys know the drill. Going to the website. Anybody got any questions or answers? Dancing the monkey here. Just ask away. That's currently in my Drake ships are the same. Yes, exactly. That's what Drake ships, how they're put together. They just throw some wires onto the table and glue them to the side of the ship. But if you go check out jrfabrication.co.uk, you can find CIG officially licensed kit models. Javelin 1 to 500 when? Probably not for a year or so, depending on level of interests. We obviously want to do it, but like JR was talking about before, it's more of developing the right processes for that. Yeah, I would say probably highly unlikely anytime soon, just because it's not on the docket. And we have a Javelin that we built for CIG that's sitting in the office now. Thanks, Unji. And yeah, so it's not like it's not like it's never going to happen. I would just say that it's highly unlikely anytime soon. But it really comes down to like any of the other larger ships, which is basically making molds and then doing resin casts of the large ship parts. Because one, 3D printing them would take forever and be extraordinarily expensive. So if you can definitely make that a little bit easier and less expensive without losing the detail, then yeah, that's what we're going to do. But it does take a lot of research and development, and of course time and money. So we're working on what we got now, and we do have the roadmap out now. So look for the Hercules as the next kit model in 1 to 500 after the Carrack. Carrack's going to be out in about 40 to 45 days. So you can purchase it then. Obviously, we'll be doing our big announcements here, letting you guys know when it's going to happen. We'll probably do the same kind of countdown and things like that. So we have the Herc. So pretty excited about that. And then of course we'll be doing the different models and things like that. And then a new set of 1 to 500 diorama models, I guess is the way to put it. The little guys. So we're expanding the 1 to 500 line. We are kind of stuck with what's in the game right now and what's available. The thing that I'm most excited about, to tell you the truth, is going to be the 1 to 500 MSR, because that's about the size of a Carrack S, so it's big. And I'm really excited about that. So yes, the Herc's going to have a tonk, 100%. Herc mark combo discount. I like it. You should definitely ask JR. Yeah, I definitely understand that, but it's also something really excited about the diorama kits for I guess that's mixing metaphors. Diorama models, so the little guys. And the reason why we put all those guys out is because we can do all those different models in as many different models as we can in that size to bring everything together. So it's about the most we can do, the most models in is 1 to 500. So that's really exciting to kind of have that lineup all the way down, the Gladiuses and the little tiny Pisces and those guys all the way up to the Carrack, which is a big ass model. So.
We're all in now. I've actually brought the gas round.
We're all in. Yes. Yes. This is how we do it.
Right. So this won't fit on the desk. This is the This is the sort of inner workings of this. So what I will do is I will put that down there, and then
Unji, I'll make some just for you. I'll do that in the glass resin. So because those would be teeny. Engineer says 1 to 500 PTV when.
Yeah.
What size? How big would that be? That would be just like it would be. I would have to do it in nano printing.
Yeah. Oh, it's man. We're gonna be restricted by how much hose I've got here. Actually, it's gonna have to go down.
Yeah,
here.
and Mr. Bath Salts, JR is a huge Hull fan, so
Oh, yes.
absolutely it's going to happen.
I need to stand this in such a way that we can see what's going on with it.
There we go. Nice.
But within range of our piping. So, oh, that's fucking convoluted, right? Okay. So, I don't have enough pipe work to do. I don't think I have enough pipe work to get it running in both directions. We'll see. Let's see. So, oh, we might be all right. Oh God, I see that was very unplanned for this much success.
Exactly, but that's a good thing, though.
Yes, yeah, that's not
I do have a grain of sand for you, golden
go on.
triangles. Yeah, I'm just giving Chad a hard time here. They're asking for a 1 to 500 coffee mug now.
Oh, well, 25 micron printer, I mean, maybe.
Yeah. I mean,
it'd be like 2 layers or something.
One way to find out.
Yeah. Right. Okay.
Yeah.
This is obviously.
I think the support would be bigger than the entire
external
thing.
to everything we're doing here. Right. So I do need another bit of pipe, which I do have here. Ooh. I have one with fucking end on. There we go.
Nice.
Right. So now I need to go and get an air. Oh, I need to get an airline.
500 mid pen and a big Benny's bowl. Yes. For your micro diorama. I do actually know a what are they called? A nano printer. So they nano print in precious metals for jewelry. And it's up in Toronto. And I met him up there, and we started talking about 3D printing and stuff. He's like, "Yeah, we do that all the time." Like, wow, that's cool. And they literally do like nanoparticles in each little tiny one.
Wow.
And you need a microscope to see what they do.
Jesus.
So, yeah. Oh, it's insane.
That is insane.
Yeah,
right. How much PSI do we think we need for this? Start at 40 and work from there, I think.
There you go. I was going to say 6, but.
No, this is quite a big RAM.
Okay.
And it's pushing quite a lot of mechanics because it's. Right, which is the inlet on this?
That is the question.
We'll find out in a minute.
So somebody mentioned earlier that the tabletop looks like a Drake ship.
The inner workings of a Drake ship. Indeed.
I said they just take all that and just glue it to the side.
Yeah. I don't need that now. Can fuck off. Right. So.
Now, is each one of those a separate valve?
No.
So does it have like 3 separate lines, or is it just one?
So the way these work is quite clever. So obviously, to make a cylinder work, you've not only got to put pressure into one end, you've got to allow it to come out the other. Because if you end up with the same pressure at both ends, it won't move.
Right.
So this is actually like a double throw switch or double valve inside. So it it's got 5 ports, so it's got pressure.
Yep.
So you've got, I'm standing in between the camera now. Right, so you've got pressure coming in, and then they're the 2 valves that go to the cylinder, and then these are the exhaust ports, so they're just going to fly out here. Now you can use the exhaust ports as a way of controlling the speed, because you can change the pressure going in, and that'll control the speed, but you've got the same speed going in and out, whereas if you put restrictors on these 2, you can control the speed of in and out separately.
Gotcha.
But we're just going to have them open at the moment, so it'll just go as fast as it can go with the pressure we're putting in. Right, so the air was coming out of that one, so it's normally closed. So we want that to be return. and that to be drive. So in theory, when we put air into this, it should not go anywhere. That is not what happened. That, in fact, is the opposite of what happened. So that's fine. So we need to swap those over. I've clearly turned this over in the process. So don't be dumb. Now, when we plug this in, it should close up again.
All right.
Now, I guess let me just try and route this a little bit so I'm not in the way of the camera. Where's my airline? Right, so
Work better. Yes.
So you can kind of see, to get the drive that we needed, it's got this pulley system. So it pulls the rope twice the distance of the drive of the cylinder, which gives us enough opening distance for the door. So that's fine. So in theory, when we press this button, it should trigger this. And it does.
Hey,
so
winning.
Working. So I'll put a bit of tension on this. So this rope I'm tensioning would be the weight of the door. Then after it sort of times out, it should then close the cylinder again. Once it's timed out.
Timing out.
Anytime
now. Anytime now.
There we go.
Oof.
So that is it actually working. Who the fuck knew? How cool is that?
You were definitely not expecting this.
I was definitely not expecting this much success. That is not normal. Right, I'm just going to move this camera a little bit so I can stand next to it and we can still see what's going on. Okay. Excellent. Right, okay. So, what else is there? Well, there's the RFID chip. Let's go in for a penny and for a pound. Let's see if we can get the RFIDs working as well. So,
let's do it.
So the RFIDs are with the drop-off side of this, because if we click pick up, it should just processing. Please stand by. Open the door. Oh no, error found. Oh right, okay. So it won't let you pick up. So I think there's something to do with this, which is we had to trigger that there was a job to pick up. So I think that's a software communication thing, because there is extra levels of complexity to this. The drop-off, however, currently we've got it, please stand by. It's then going to open the cylinder and wait for the parcel. And what's happening is, so that's it, opening the door, and then it's waiting for the shelf. That's it telling you to put the box on the shelf. And because it's not receiving, it's not getting that, it's not closing. Well, it does close, but it's timed out and closing it, and nothing comes up with an error.
Times out, right.
Yep. So that's it looking for an RFID thing. Now, I don't know how to program said RFIDs. So it doesn't bring up an error message. So it'll be interesting to see if we can... My only issue is I have no idea how to attach this RFID thing. So I do have a picture of it, which I'm just going to have to go and find. And then I can put it up on screen and we can all have a look at it. It's a bit of a grainy picture that Stephen sent me. Not Stephen, James sent me. Okay. So this is the picture, and this is the wiring setup. Cool.
All right.
Excellent. So I'm gonna have to leave this on screen so that I can see it over there to be able to wire it. So this, please ignore the terribleness here that I'm just talking as no one there, because I need some hope of getting these colours in the right order. And at least now I've got this up on screen and might have a chance.
Orange on C2.
Oh right, yeah, that's
Gray and ground.
what I don't have though. I wonder how this works then. Where did I put the... Right, so that's the RFID reader. So, right, colours I've got. Red, orange... Right, okay, yeah, I think I have all those colours.
Red, orange, gray, blue, yellow, and white.
Right, where's red going? Is red going to 3.3 volt? Yes, it is. Right, so I've got this the right way round. You can't see what I'm waving.
Nope.
Right, okay. So I think, right, let me just give me 2 minutes. Let me wire this up.
Okay.
So... So I do need... Start with the blue. Oh, that's annoying. I don't have all the colours I need to keep the colours.
the 1 to 500 Ursa is the same size as my pinky nail.
Yeah,
So-
and that is in the Carrack kit. So
That is in the Carrack kit, yes.
Oh, this is the wrong way round. Oh, this is going to be hard, Drew.
Uh-oh.
It's going to be hard. Because not only do I not... Oh, wait a minute. I think I might have more. No, see, they're all in pairs. I'm trying to find a bundle. Right, I've got an orange.
Don't know what's going on.
Yeah, I know. Right. All right. Okay. You can try and guide me then. Right. So that picture is in our NDA server in general.
Okay.
So because I can't really see it anyway. So
hello, GG Asuna. Welcome.
We will turn it back to this. And oh God, it really does look like a Drake ship, doesn't it?
Look, JR, you should have set the car on fire. Really. I mean, it was a badly staged crime scene.
GG, so thank you very much for the raid. Great to see you. And welcome, welcome. We should probably fill in for the people who have just arrived. What on earth? This
mess. You should have set the car on fire.
That is true. We should probably...
I mean, it was a badly staged crime scene.
The Nitron TV, thank you very much for the raid as well. So, for all those who have just joined this insanity that is going on this desk, yeah, how to quickly explain this?
I'm just happy to blame JR immediately. But if you insist,
good luck.
We will look.
Yeah, good luck with that one. So yes, basically, you join us here, having a hell of a lot more success than we thought.
But if you insist, we will look at the evidence.
So we have got... Thank you very much for the follow. I'll look at
JR might be a dickhead, but apparently he's got some great friends.
Hey, thank you very much for the sub. So we have this unit here. People that went to CitizenCon 2019 may recognize it. It was an unfinished project because it was for our trade stand, and we ended up doing a lot of stuff for other people, and it was the thing that got axed because we weren't being paid for it, and we only had a certain amount of time. So this has been sitting in my workshop for a good while, collecting dust. And what we would like to do is make it look a lot like this, which is the new paint job of the Pick-up Drop-off unit in game. Now, our version of it is a hell of a lot cleverer than you'd think. Thank you to the Stormtrooper, James, one of our
I'm just
amazing
happy to
people.
blame JR immediately, but if you insist, we will look at the evidence.
Ventron TV, thanks for the follow.
Thanks for the follow.
Yeah, thanks for the raids, guys. The Nitron TV. We do this normally on Sundays and sometimes Wednesdays.
Yes, Wednesday. It should be Wednesdays. The last two Wednesdays I have missed for various reasons, and we don't have Drew because he's in America. So we are obviously the people that also make lots of model ships for Star Citizen, but we also do some crazy ass event projects, and this is us trying to polish. Now the Carrack's kind of done and is printing and ready for release. With a chance to do some other projects. So this is the screen that you see in the Covalex unit, and this all works. This is all touchscreen, sounds work, and if you watch the bottom screen right down the bottom, you'll see this actually firing an air ram, which is what opens the door of the actual physical unit. And it opens very, very quick, and looks amazing. So we never really got it finished. All of this stuff sat in a box. This is the first time it's ever actually all been put together to work, the air rams and things. Hence why this is just chaos, because this is the first time it's ever been put together. And that's it, timing out and closing it again. So what we're trying to do is try and get the technical side of it working. We'll then install all of this into the unit as it stands at the moment. Get it all working exactly how we want it to work. We'll then strip it all back out again and make any physical alterations that I want to make to the unit just to upgrade it a little bit. We'll then put all the electronics back in, check it still all works, take it all back out again, and then repaint the unit in the new color scheme and then put it all back together again. And that shouldn't be a huge project in theory. This was always my worry because I'd never seen any of this working. I didn't do any of the programming for this because that is not what I do. So it's great to see it all working after 2 years in a box, which is amazing.
It's amazing.
Indeed. Right, so Drew is going to talk me through the wiring pattern because the other cool thing that this thing does, it has this, which is an RFID reader. So the idea is when you put a box in the unit, James, being the psycho that he is, has RFID chips, like cards that go with it. This was his idea, by the way. This was not something I asked him to do. This was just like, I know how to make this more awesome. So these are the RFID cards. And the idea is that there's one of these attached to the bottom of the box. And that signifies that it is indeed the correct box. And therefore it allows it and accepts it. If not, it tells you to take it out, is the theory. Now, all this needs a bit of tweaking still. I've no idea whether these RFID cards will work because I don't know if you have to program them or whether it's just this is programmed to identify any RFID card. We will find out. But these are basically like hotel key cards. So we'll see. We'll just pick one at random and see if it works. But we need to wire this up, and all we have is one pitch. Unfortunately, James is at a Renaissance fair today, so otherwise he would be here with us going, stop doing that, stop doing that.
Nope,
right, so
that's wrong.
Yes. So
exactly.
White cable. So this is the opposite way around to how you're seeing it on the picture. Okay. So let's do the ones that are at the bottom of your picture, so the ones that are closest to the edge. And we're counting in from your...
Well, you should see the labels on them, right? So you have 6, 7,
oh, can you actually
25,
see
6,
the label?
and 7, right?
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Oh, sweet. Right, so white
cable.
cable.
So the white cable, that is on the second layer, though. That's not going to be...
Okay, well, that's fine. If we have numbers, then it's all good.
Yeah, so the gray cable goes to 25.
Oh, gray or white?
Gray.
Is
the gray and orange are the ones on the bottom. Yeah. There should be a white as well, yeah.
Oh, okay. That's interesting. I only have a gray on this. Okay, let's start with red.
Okay. So the red is actually all the way down at the end.
So that should be at 3.3 volt.
Okay.
In the theory.
So
that's what
it says to. 5 volts on this side, but it's not plugged in on this side, so I don't see
it's
what
on the opposite side. So that's fine. So that is 3.3. Okay. Right, excellent.
Okay.
Pick me a next. What's the next color?
All right. So we got white.
I don't have a white, so let's ignore white and gray for the minute.
Green.
Green.
Okay, so green. Okay.
I do have a green.
So it's going to be on the second row. So the one that says 25, but on the other row. If that makes sense.
Yes, that's number 9. Okay. Yep.
And then the one next to the green is the yellow.
Yellow.
So that should be where 6 is, except in the second row.
Where 6 is. Okay. So that, as you see, it is to the left of the green.
Correct.
Cool. Yep. Next color.
And then the blue is going to be on the next to the yellow, and the second row in line with 7.
Yep.
Okay. And then in front of that, you're going to have the orange one in 6.
So that is in front of the yellow, yes?
Correct.
Cool. Yep.
And then the only two left we have is gray and white.
Cool. Well, I've got purple and grey, so let's assume that. Let's call white purple.
Okay. So that's going to be to the right of the green.
But on the same row.
On the same row, correct.
Yeah.
And then the gray is going to be next to the orange on 25.
Yeah. Okay. On 25. Right. The chance of this working. But I've said that before. Right, I'm going to restart all this because I don't know whether it'll need to boot and talk to whatever the hell this little RFID thing is. Okay.
That's a good question. Did you pick a winner? Raffle.
Yeah, sorry?
We'll pick it at the end of the stream.
Oh, yeah.
We haven't picked the raffle yet. So
we haven't picked the raffle. Well, while that's rebooting, we can pick the raffle.
There you go.
Should give you access to the raffle, and then you can do it.
Please do not burn down the workshop. Agreed.
Pick a winner. Ready? There we go. Urban Burger.
Urban Burger.
Congratulations.
Congrats.
Can you... Right, Urban Burger. The way this works, to get your JREX, you will need to... I assume you have... who the hell wouldn't? Have an account on our website, jrfabrication.co.uk. If you can whisper or DM me or whatever, your first and last name that you opened that account with, because that's the only way I can search on it, and then I shall give you the JREX. So that's cool. Right, okay. Thank you very much. So, pick up, and drop off, all back together. So, in theory, I wonder whether the lights on this are going to do anything when we introduce a card. No. I mean, I've got a little light on it. I guess we're just going to have to click drop off and see what the fuck happens. So it's going to open the door.
Yeah. For science.
There we go. And then we're going to introduce this card near it. And it's going to do nothing at all. But this is the thing. I figure we need to program these cards, surely.
Yeah, you definitely have to program the card, I would say. Because it's like if you go to the hotel, the first thing they do is say, yeah, this is a valid code.
So I wonder how you program the card. Well, I suppose you're not programming the card. You're programming the machine to recognize that card's number. Because presumably the RFID card is just a serial number. I was just trying to see whether there was one loose still out of its packet, and that might have been the one that Jimmy Boy did, but I can't see it.
AlertSec said, you know this game where you work together to defuse a bomb?
Yeah.
One has the instructioner and the other works on the bomb. I had those vibes with you too.
Absolutely, that'd be great. So I think in general, as I say, I think this is probably working. We just need a programmed card for it. I will have to ask James how to do that. But other than that, it works, and I am genuinely fucking stunned at that.
Yeah, I'm blown away.
And that's great because that's a whole step of stuff that that I didn't think we would have straight off the bat. As I say, the air ram and stuff, it's a bit of a kludge, as we can sort of see from this. The air ram system is a kludge. It works. Don't get me wrong. It opens the door beautifully. It fits in a very small space. Above the door and between the door and the storage, it lays flat. So it is a inelegant solution. There's a lot of sort of dirty ass welding and random rollers attached by. So this isn't attached by builder's banding, but the builder's banding stops the rope jumping because this thing opens so fast it can jump sometimes. And yeah, this is a very event theater-esque solution.
Get her done.
Make it fucking work. Exactly. Like all of these were like custom welded. We just like torched and welded all this up, sort of on the fly to make it be a thing and to make it work.
That's awesome.
So it's not entirely untechnological, but we'll just trigger it again. It's not entirely untechnological. It's just it looks a little bit rough. to say the least. But it works. It functions. You don't see any of this, so it doesn't matter. Do you know what I mean? This isn't something that you see. So
Yeah, exactly.
it is what it is. I say I want to change all this out for a stepper motor. So the way it will work on a stepper motor is we'll have a bar across the back, because the sort of the part of it that's got all the control system is on sort of this side of it. And then there'll be basically a bar that goes across the back. This is the back face of the unit. So there'll be a bar that goes across, and it'll have a spool in the middle that the rope gets spooled onto. And then again, it'll still work with gravity on the door, so it'll still have the same safety aspect of, if you put your hand in the way of the door, you're just holding the weight of the door. It's only gravity that's sending it downwards, but we will at least be able to control the descent speed more accurately. At the moment, all we can do to control the descent speed is control the descent speed in general.
With the pressure, right?
Yeah. Oh, and we can't alter it at different points of its descent, whereas with a stepper motor we can. So it would be a lot better to do it with a stepper motor. But that's a whole extra thing that we've never done before. I've done plenty of sort of air ram solutions to event stuff, so I know how that works. And I say this was a very kind of quick and dirty build for us, really. Whereas it would be nice to get it on the steppers, because at the end of the day, that opens up a lot more possibilities for us going forward for other projects that we sort of have in our heads and stuff. So, but that's nice. So that's all running off one one plug, or two plugs, because we've got the plug for the thing. But this is 5 volt as well, so we can actually run that probably off this power supply as well.
Oh yeah, probably
3 amp power supply. So so that's cool. So a bit of wiring for that, but this isn't a huge setup. It's not a particularly gargantuan setup. It's a lot of wires and cables here, but obviously we can get them the right lengths and stuff. So what is next? Well, that has been quicker than I thought. So next it's about installing it into the unit itself. Now, at the moment, I don't really have the tech to get us down into the workshop to do that. So we need to kind of, I'll see if I can.
Next stream, we're going to have a goal, right?
Yeah, we'll have a goal. But I do want to get on with it. Do you know what I mean? So we need to, we need to sort of work that out. So the idea was we'd do a stream goal and sort of get the stream goal going, so that we can get down into the workshop. The other thing we could do is, I also have another project on the list, is finishing this desk. So this is my rig in this Covalex desk, this half-finished Covalex desk. So you can see we sort of rip stuff off by its glue down here, and things aren't painted, in its they are sort of painted in its final colours, but I don't like its final colours. It's got all the fans in it and stuff, which is nice, but it's daft things like I don't like how far inset these fans ended up, so I want to bring them forward by a layer, so it's not that triple layer, bring them forward to the white and stuff.
Right,
And there is a hole here, right? And this is a 3D printed thing, which should just wiggle out. Get this out here.
A bracket?
Yeah, so this is a little 3D printed doofamy. We'll call this doofamy. My cable's caught.
Doofamy?
A doofamy. So this little doofamy is a bracket for a Pi and a Pi screen, a small little Pi screen, another little touch screen, which should be in here. So I brought the whole Pi. There it is. Another project.
Nice. So many pies.
So many Raspberry Pis. So this here, still got its peel off on,
Nice.
fits in this. Let's see if we can work out how it fits in. I think you just pull the screen off. And then this fits. No. Fits in there. So that sits inside. Oh, focus camera. Sorry, excuse my blurry ass camera.
Into it
There we go.
camera.
So that is a Raspberry Pi
Oh, yeah.
touchscreen, sits inside that. So that bracket then holds it flush against the underneath of the wood, and then this gets attached on the underside to
Cool.
all its pins. And then there's like holes for the standoffs and things. There's actually standoffs that sit in there and hold that and hold it all in place. And then this cable here is like a network cable, but it's not actually a network cable. But it's going to this, which has got they're actually the ones I nicked off that, and they go on to the power restart, hard drive light, and all that kind of stuff, so that this screen, the little screen, sits in the desk, and is how you actually turn the PC on and off and reset it and restart it. And it also has linked via Wi-Fi to an API. This is a Stephen the Geek thing. Via API, it shows all your temperatures and your fan speeds and your CPU clocks and things on it. So it gives you all the PC information on this on the desk, which is fucking awesome. Again, never quite got finished. Again, this desk was also built for our trade stand at CitizenCon. So all of this cool tech never really got finished because it all had to be put behind the other builds we were doing. Because when we started it, we were just doing CIG stuff, and I think just Game Glasses stuff, or just Demo Rally stuff, and then we got another 5 trade stands added to that. So it all kind of just built up and up and up on us, and obviously our stuff got waylaid, but didn't matter because Westbrook Drew still pulled it out and sold a hell of a lot of kit models that day. So clearly our ramshackle stand of unfinished projects. It was just like this bin of unfinished shit.
You want? I think I told you this, but I was down with the Game Glass guys, and we were just finishing up some things. But the JRDF booth was still in disarray, like complete disarray. And Chris Roberts came down and was like, "Hey, I want to go check out the JRDF stand." I'm like, "Yeah. Hey, have you met the Game Glass guys?"
Yes, because we had the ugliest stand on the day because we'd done everyone else's. But that's fine. It's fine.
That was funny.
We were the only people allowed to make money on the day, so it's like I wasn't really complaining.
Yeah, exactly.
We were the only people that were allowed to actually take payment for stuff because like Game Glass weren't allowed. They could direct people to their website, but they couldn't take payments. Whereas we were taking card payments. And what I still have as a feather in JRDF's cap. Do you know who wasn't taking card payments on the day? CIG. So you had to pay in cash for their merch, but not ours.
Not for us because we're awesome.
Just tickles me. So that was
awesome.
That was an amazing success. I'm really impressed that all this works. No, not impressed with us. I've no doubt that it worked. I'm impressed with us. We actually work out how to
make it work. Yeah, exactly. I agree.
Because this is a mess.
Yeah,
this is a whole mess of things. But yeah, any final questions, people?
Yeah.
Why on earth do you do this crazy shit, Joe? Things like that.
Learn something new every day.
Yeah. Work something out new every day anyway. But yeah, so that's cool. So as I say, the next part of this project is to get down to workshop. So we'll do a stream goal, and what I'll probably do is I'll talk to Stephen between now and next Sunday, and we'll perhaps do the stuff for this PC desk, because I could grab another computer to actually put the headers onto. Because obviously I can't do it on this one, because if it works, it'll shut the stream down. That would be bad.
That would be bad.
So we'll see.
Success.
Yeah, success. So we'll see. We'll see if Stephen can remember how it all worked. Because again, it's been 2 years since he looked at it.
Right. Yeah.
We do have some other stuff as well. We do have other unfinished projects. We have 3 crates. You know, when like people who remember us from back in the day, we actually have got a PC crate, a lockbox crate, and a fridge crate, sort of 3/4 finished. And again, we just sort of ditched them in the end. We couldn't make them profitable, was the problem. Yeah. It's like we couldn't actually make them profitable. For the amount of money that we were happy charging for them. And I think what the plan is to try and finish off a lot of these projects, like this desk, for example. So this desk I want to finish, get all its LEDs in, because it's got more LEDs in it. It's also got a like a cool screen on the end with Covalex etched into it and stuff. Repaint it in the nicer blue and grey colours. But then I think we might sell it. Because it's a cool desk, but it's not great for in here. I'd rather have a higher desk or a lift desk. We did make this flat packable. It does separate us on coffin locks, so it does break down into 3 pieces, so it is going to be easier to ship in that it's not a massive, I mean, still a big parcel, but it's not,
It's a big thing.
yeah, it's
heavy.
Not massive. But yeah, so I think potentially we might finish it and sell it.
I'm pretty sure you already have my address, so.
Yeah. Pretty sure I do. We won't be giving it away. Let's put it that way, people. This is not going to be a giveaway. But what I'll probably do is leave the PC case in it because it's a Thermaltake Core P5 in this desk, and it's fitted for that case.
Right.
And I want to move my rig onto this water block. So it might be a case of we'll do the desk, but then we'll build the water block case, move my rig onto the water block, and then this one will be ready to go, and we could just sell it because then the PC will be out of it.
Right.
I'd leave the fans in it because these are NZXT Hue fans, and the shape of the cutouts is to match their LEDs, and their LEDs are a bit weird. So that I really like them, but they're an odd shape. They're not round. So the fans on an NZXT case are this weird shape.
Oh, I see.
Like this. But as you can see, the desk fits them. And I really liked the fact that they weren't like just a round fan LED. And these are all like addressable LED fans as well. Actually, ludicrously expensive for fans, you know. And I will say, I do love the NZXT fans because they are so quiet. This PC never makes a noise. It really doesn't. And it fits. They're all 140s, and it fits 8 of them in it. So there's 3 down the bottom, 3 on the back, 2 on the front. So you can definitely put 3 rads in this, and there's loads of room in it. It's a big case, and then I say it's got the touch screen to turn it on and monitor your fan speeds and all this sort of stuff. Me. It is a really cool desk. So I'd leave the fans in it and the case in it because as I say, it's very much built for them. And I want to build a new desk, and maybe not a Star Citizen desk. Interestingly, I kind of want to build a sci-fi cool desk from scratch to my design, so that it looks awesome, but it is designed to be used in the real world.
Useful, yes.
Rather than trying to shoehorn real world into a Star Citizen model. That's not taking anything away from the Star Citizen props guys. They weren't designing it to be a real world thing or making it to be a sci-fi cool-ass thing for a computer game. But also so it's easily a flat pack thing. I would like to go back to selling some furniture, but it has to be more practical furniture to ship. That's the big problem. Now, I'll tell you what I did find when I was running around Star Citizen was a new crate. Where did I put it? I found a new crate, or rather, not a new crate, but a altered crate. I have so many versions of Star Citizen on this computer. Like a stupid number of them. Like every hard drive has a copy of Star Citizen.
That sounds right.
Yeah, this guy. So this is obviously this crate's been in game for a long time, but it never had a screen on it.
That's cool.
The screen is new. Now, I assume the screen is there so it's lockable, because for personal inventory, crates and things should be lockable or something, but that is definitely didn't have a screen before. Definitely didn't have a screen. Now, this box excites me because it's squarer.
Explain.
It's squarer than the crate we did before. It also has much better break lines in it. So this line between the grey and the blue. Zoom in. This line between the grey and the blue is a paint hard line. which it has on that side. This is very much a straight, hard line around it, and the lid isn't that deep. We might have to force another panel line into the bottom, but that would make it a flat packable box. So we could ship it flat packed rather than it actually being a fully assembled box to ship, because that's where it becomes ludicrously expensive to ship these things. It's also a much flatter design than the other one. The other one had so much depth to its cuts that the actual sides of the box were, I think, 48mm minimum timber to start with that you were cutting out from. So it made sanding it a fucking ball ache. It made painting it a ball ache. It made making these things so complicated. So being able to do a simpler box that still looks sci-fi enough to look cool. I might try and make one of these and see what I could get the cost down to.
It was JR.
Still need to fix it. Who was that?
Thanks for the bits.
Thank you, Death Ghost. Thank you for the bits.
It does look like a Vault-Tec box.
Yeah. I'm just jumping on. I did find, as I was looking for different pictures later on, so that's why I couldn't see my screen. I did find some pictures earlier on of.
So Mr. Bath Salt 98 said, have you guys ever discussed when JR Fab thought to start doing SE models? Be curious when it all started, or where it all started.
Oh, well, that's quite a sort of simple lineage, actually. Let's find that lineage.
I got this guy. Bingo. You're toast.
So basically, it all started in it started in 2017. I'm just trying to find a picture of it. I really need to sort out my folders better, but then I always say that. So it started off in 2017 when I was bored at work and wanted to do a project for myself. It genuinely was a project for myself. It wasn't something I was doing for CIG. It wasn't something I was doing for anyone. Oh, there we go. That's what I was looking for. So what we did was we built this guy, and this was genuinely just me at this point, and I made this GSS unit, which is the old space suit locker used to be in Port Olisar all the time.
I wonder who. It was JR.
Thank you, Deathghost, for more cheers.
All the cheers.
So this I did in 2017, and this was, I say, done. And then I found out BritisonCon was going on, so we did it. So I actually took it to BritisonCon. That was probably some of the hardest vinyling I've ever done. Those letters are so small. So these are just a couple of the build photos. That's the deck. So that's the warning decal on it. That's down here at the bottom. Now, at the time in the game, the graphic that is actually on that warning sticker was so small it was unreadable, so we made up our own text for it. So I shall leave that to give you a chance to read it. So we did that, had it printed on vinyls, just because the clip is funny. So yes, we did that, and I say this was literally just me. This was the screen because we put that on the screen. It was we sprayed it all and made it. It's pretty big. It splits in two. It's got wheels. It's a good piece of event furniture. This is where I used to work. This isn't our workshop. This is my old workshop. This is in my living room before it was finished living room. So I kind of half built it here, half built it at my old work. And yeah, it was cool. Free cat for scale. And yeah, all birch ply like most of our stuff back then, and CNC'd. And that was the machine I used to do it on. That was my old machine at my old work. And yeah, no, I learned quite a lot doing it. It was very much a interest project for me to actually work out how to build complicated things, because I was in a bit of a rut professionally, because we weren't doing anything challenging. Nothing technically challenging was occurring at work. Yeah, that's the best you can see of the sticker. So we started doing that, and I took it to BritisonCon, and basically BritisonCon happened. Obviously BritisonCon's amazing. It's probably is it unfair to say it's the best fan event? It's the best fan event to go to if you want to meet a load of devs, because there's usually about 100 devs there, because it's across down the road from the biggest studio. So it's got that as a massive advantage. So anyway, met those guys. It ended up going and living at CIG in Wimslow. And as I say, the rest is history. They asked us to then come in and do something for Gamescom the same year. So because we got involved quite late, we didn't have time to build the whole trade stand, so we did these desks. So these are still in game. They are the same design as this desk, or same sort of theme as this desk. And these are the ones you find in Outpost. Technically, they're made by Microtech. We did them to fit the Corsair N7 cases that they used at the time, and give them plenty of airflow. That was the ludicrous streaming desk that was at, that was at the back, and then it split into two desks. Aaron Roberts has one of them now, and Carl Jones has the other. And yeah, so we did all these desks for Gamescom. Again, at my old work, I rented my old workshop, and I ate a lot of pizza. I did this sort of like after work a lot of the time, so I would do this through the night. And Cal's worked night shifts as a nurse at the time, so I would drop her off at the hospital, and then I would come in and do a night shift to build this stuff. And there was a lot of them. There was a lot of desks, and yeah, they worked all right. Though this is back in our shop now, so again, I cut it all there and then brought it all back and built them in our shop, and then they went back to the workshop to get painted. And we made these cool crates for them, and yeah, so these were all nice. Yeah, they were good. I do miss having a paint shop this big. It's got to be said. Just a workshop this big, actually. And that was a big ass crate.
Forklift.
Yeah, I miss having a fucking forklift as well. Holy crap, I miss having a forklift. So this place, I don't think you can see anything really cool in these pictures. This was we used to build theatre sets and TV sets and stuff, so there was all sorts of amazing shit on the shelves in this place. But yeah, it was cool. So yeah, then we're at Gamescom, and so this was the first time 3.0 was done. Exactly, Patch. Yes, we have that exact crate as one of our our emotes. So this was in Germany at Colomese. So yeah, it was all good. People enjoyed it. That's Chris Roberts leaning on things. So yeah, so then this was me musing about this was the start of it turning into this desk and actually building a proper PC inside with all water cooling and stuff. So, so that was that. So we did that. Where did we go from there? We then did the Saber Raven the same year. No, we did Raven first. Raven definitely first. And I say same year. It was only a couple of months in between them, really. And we came back and they went, "Can you build a Saber Raven?" It was like, "Oh, maybe." I'd never done anything like this before, and it was mad. It was all done on a machine. Oh god! I mean, looking at some of this now is just cringeworthy. I didn't know how to 3D carve particularly well back then. The stock I was making up was unbelievably heavy. And yeah, it was pretty painful. There was a lot of sanding involved. There's Misha being the Raven, and this thing's big. It's 3 meters long, 3 meters wide. I mean, Jesus, just look at the fluffiness. This was a thing. Ian never had good bits. This is back at our shop.
Oh yeah, that's what you were saying. Yeah.
Yeah, I have all my tools for the CNC are 100 quid plus, and I do think you get much better results out of it. Less fucking filler, anyway. And yeah, the Raven, there was a lot in getting this Raven working. And oh god, my shop was so crammed back then. It's not that much better now, to be honest, but you'll notice it's more crap now, and there's no CNC in it. There's also our CNC in this room here. We didn't have our own machine back then, and yeah, so it's a welding it up because there's a frame inside it for hanging it because it's now hung. That is the blurriest photo ever. That was probably interesting. That's as blurry as my eyes were at that point, though. That's an actual view from inside my face.
True to life.
It is true to life. So you can see this crate at the top. So that is the crate that Chris Roberts has on stage that year, that he pulls the octane out and stuff. We built that, designed, made, and painted it in 3 days. I had 72 hours to make that from being asked if we could make it or not. The paint was still wet when we got there.
Wow.
And yeah, this was in our living room before it was painted. And we worked all night to get this all done. These were non-3D printed guns. We've actually replaced it since then with 3D printed guns. And yeah, it all got put together in the weirdest venue in the world. Yeah. And that's me looking really tired. Yeah, that's the box on stage.
There it is.
And that's a GSS unit. So yes, you did see the GSS unit that year at that event because we took that and all the desks where the desks were on stage and everything, and everything. So everything got used. Everything got used that year, which was really nice.
That's super cool.
And then I suppose the next stuff was where did we go from there? Oh, we launched the website then. We actually started doing products. That's our old website. We started selling the desks and the furniture. So this was before we actually got permission to do the models. Started the blog. I bought a CNC machine. That's me offloading my CNC machine. That's it sitting in my garage. So this is when it was all shiny and new, and that's as far as the cable went because I didn't have. So I had the machine, but I hadn't managed to. I was waiting to have 3-phase put into the workshop because I didn't have 3-phase. So it was it was just me holding the cable, going, "That's as far as I can go." So for BritainCon, we made a new desk. So that was BritainCon 2017's desk, and what we wanted to do was replace it with the administration desk from Port Olisar. But although I had the machine, I couldn't actually use it because I didn't have any power. Stupid. And it was just like, oh my god. So I had to hand build this. So I hand built this with routers and
I'm just happy to blame JR immediately. But if you look at the
Thank you very much. So yeah, I had to according to my follower goal, I don't know if that's actually accurate. We've only got 6 more followers to 1,000, but
oh wow. That's great.
It gets ahead of itself, so you have to look on Twitch and see how many followers we've got because that counter often gets ahead of itself. So yeah, it was all hand routed and hand cut and everything. So there's my CNC machine sitting there doing fuck all, and I hand built all the goddamn desk. So annoying, so annoying. But yeah, it just wasn't going to be in there. And then we painted this quite in an interesting way. So all the panels came back off so that we could.
I'm just happy to blame JR immediately. But
you bastard! What a fantastic name. That is brilliant. Spazzy, how are you? Yeah, so we could take all these panels back off at any point and repaint them in different colors without having to mask it all. This was one of the first bits of furniture we did that trick with, and it is so much better to be able to paint things without masking all the time. And then that is the desk at the event, and it looked really good. And then it's been to quite a lot of events as well. This was the next year? No, this was the same year. We did these guys. So this is a trading and shipping console that is in Grimhex and stuff. It probably still is in Grimhex. So we built these. Now this was the first thing I CNC'd. So I got the thing up and running, and this was the first thing that I actually cut and made on our machine. And we built them all and painted them, and I kind of forget about these because we don't have them anymore. The guys that ran BritainCon have them because they paid for them. But we put Wing Commander in them. So at the event, you could play Wing Commander.
That's awesome,
and we had all of the Wing Commanders in these things, so that you could you could just sit and play Wing Commander on them.
Very good.
And then we also did these crates and did. So I mean that gives you an idea of how many pieces these crates come in. They're insane.
We're doing a little history, Spazzy,
Yeah.
kind of going through JRDF in inception and how it came about.
Someone asked a really simple question, and we're going to spend an hour
He's been
answering
going
it.
on for
They've
about 15
probably
minutes
left.
now.
It's like, oh, I actually wasn't that interested. If I'm honest, I've just fucked off. Just like, the Wing Commander thing was so you could go to a Star Citizen event and play a finished game. That was our strap line for that one. You could play it. You could play a. Oh, thank you very much. You are still here. Thank God we haven't bored you to death. You could come to BrazenCon and play a finished Chris Roberts game. Was how we put that. I don't think he ever saw that. But yeah, these things are such a pain. Oh, this is us looking at other crates and stuff to do. So that was quite cool. And then I'm going to find pictures of. Obviously, Austin. Austin was the next big thing, and we got to go to there. Where will I find pictures of that? That will be. The problem is every project kind of goes. Oh no, 2018.
Yeah, I got a lot of really great pictures from Austin, but like I said, it's on the other computers. So.
Yeah, I'm sure I had.
I normally have the networking going, so I could just pull it up. But it's a bit far.
Yeah, yes, you are a bit far away at this point. Oh no.
Yeah, Austin was amazing. Oh man, that was such a good time. And that was the first time I actually worked with JRDF.
Indeed it is.
Really cool to be part of the the setup crew and get behind the scenes. And the one lady I was going to take some pictures before everybody came in, and the Drake booth was all secretive. She's like, "You can't come in here," and I'm like, "She's like, oh, come on in, you're fine."
Yeah. Fuck you, bitch. I'm allowed in anywhere.
Exactly.
This is a random ass folder of those. Obviously, we did a dragonfly and a kraken. We won't go into huge depth with all these, but
I got a nice shirt in Manchester. I was officially JRDF the next year.
Yes, you were. Well, you were kind of officially JRDF this year as well.
I was pretty official.
You did models and things, and this goddamn this thing. It's Callie's niece and mum playing on the dragonfly. This thing was huge. I mean, this thing's only 7 meters long. It is an absolute behemoth.
That's insane.
And yeah, it's got screens in it. It's got it actually worked as a game controller. I don't think many people realize that it was actually a game controller. So we actually had a game running. So when you pulled the throttle, you got the throttle sound effects, and when you pulled the triggers, the guns fired. And yeah. Oh, this was the other cool thing. We had a massive power cut for 2 days while finishing this, so we had to run off generators, which was really unfun. That sort of shit always happens.
Jeez, that's ridiculous.
It is. We just didn't have room to build these. This was the problem. This was the biggest problem with them. There was just no room. We started taking pictures of all the component parts and then got bored halfway through because there were just hundreds, literally hundreds and hundreds of them.
Wow. Yeah.
But to very quickly get to the kind of real meat on the bones of how we got into doing what we're doing now was the Kraken. And the Kraken had dioramas on it, and the dioramas required us to actually do some 3D printing. And we'd never 3D printed anything before in our life. This was a completely new thing. We got commissioned to do the job, and we bought printers the next day, and quickly taught ourselves making 3D printers, which was harassing. So this is the Cutlass Black. I don't like looking at these old diorama models. They are so much jankier than our models now, as you can clearly see. These are horrible, horrible things. This was all in 1:72, which we later realized while doing this was a really shit scale for Star Citizen. Miz did an amazing job painting these things.
Oh yeah, those are great.
Did you mess up the pool table? No. Well, I have messed up my pool table, but mainly because I stand on it. when I was decorating that room. So the pool table was in there long before it was decorated, and I may have upset one of the slates, but I need to get recloth anyway. So it usually just ends up as a dumping ground for everything. I've got to be honest. These were all very cool. This is all of Miz's paintwork on all the guns and everything for the Kraken, all the little diorama pieces, and all his little dragonflies. I love the little
Tiny
forklift.
dragonflies.
But yeah, these, I mean, this 3D printing is awful. This is, I say,
This is so bad.
it's so bad.
Oh man.
But we did
there's
these.
a little buck. Look at the little
Oh,
buck.
no, little buccaneer. We did this so fast, and this is the thing.
Oh my
This
God,
was
it was
us.
nuts.
We were spending days on some of these things, whereas now we literally spend months doing our models. But yeah, the little crews were cool. I say there's so much jankiness about a lot of these models. They are horrible. We kind of got away with it because of the random fog machines.
Random buck.
Yeah. Random Buccaneer parts. So
Chop it
you
right
did
off there.
this one, didn't you?
I did, yeah.
Yeah, you did the.
I did the buck. That was a pain in the butt.
Yes. So these were some of the
That
ones
was a
out the
heck of a
day.
learning
There
curve.
was the Kraken, with all these
Yeah.
dioramas stood on it. But yeah. So realistically, we got into where we are today because we needed 3D printers to do the dioramas on the Kraken. And when we'd finished the job, we had 2 3D printers. And now we have 7 3D printers because we do a lot more models. Our models have got a lot better. I mean, really have got a lot better. When you compare some of that stuff to, to these guys now, when you consider these are the same printers, and
Nuts.
there's more detail on this 1 to 500 dirt than there was on that fucking colors. Like, no doubt about it. There is more detail on this 1 to 500 3.5-inch model than there was on that thing that only just fitted in a carry-on suitcase.
Oh my God, the thing was huge.
It was ridiculous.
It was so heavy too. Oh my God.
Yeah, Austin was awesome. It really was. But yeah. Seems
And
a
the
long
rest,
time
as they
ago.
say, is history.
It is, and we, we're pushing through now to do more stuff. We're kind of looking forward to getting back to events as well. When, if that will happen, no one knows. A lot has to happen to get us back to events because we've diversified so much now into the 3D printing. We've like most of our workshop space is now 3D print space. So we don't have the space that we used to have. We didn't used to have a lot of space. When I needed more space, I used to rent workshops off a couple of companies that I used to work for. They have now moved on to other things or gone out of business due to COVID. So we don't even have that as a backup option. So it's like how we get back to events, I don't really know because it's it's difficult because you need a lot of space. You need a lot of space to build these things. And when CIG get back to doing big events, they're going to want even bigger stuff than before because the events are going to be bigger. There's going to be more people there. How we get back to doing bigger stuff than we were doing before, now that we have maybe a third of our build space, is tricky. So, but we're working on it. We'll keep. Yeah, we need a lot of space. It's
Lots of space. Exactly.
So much space.
Well, thanks, Patch. Appreciate that.
Yeah. And it's I say getting this Covalex unit finished will be nice because I say getting a few of these old projects done, dusted, and maybe out the door to new homes will be really nice because it'll free up a bit of space. I mean, that Covalex unit is literally taking up room and has for years. We do have a shipping container of stuff, but that's full as well. So it's. Thank you, Mr. Besser. It's been a ride. It really has. I mean, I 2018, I think, was when I actually left my old job, and beginning of 2018, I left my old job and set up JRDF proper, and sort of went to do this alone. We've never really found another client other than CIG. We probably should do, or should have done, but there's so much to build for Star Citizen.
There's a lot.
Just difficult to make it pay money, but
Yes.
but the the kit models are doing better than they were. Say if we could go back to doing events as well, that'd be great. And yeah, no, it would be nice. Be nice to grow. I would love to grow
Yeah.
this business. I'd love to employ some people, and actually get us to the point where we can do full trade stands. That was always the goal. That was what we were heading towards pre-COVID.
Mhm.
Was expanding the business into doing bigger events, and everything. The events industry has collapsed, literally collapsed, and I think people will be surprised when events come back because a lot of the companies that used to do it don't exist anymore. Like London
Yeah.
Event Productions went under, so they're the guys that did CitizenCon, last CitizenCon in Manchester. They don't exist anymore. They went.
Yeah.
Most event companies
Yeah.
have
Yeah. I mean, there
folded.
wasn't events.
No
So.
events, no money. I mean, don't get me wrong. I think our government. I'm not a huge fan of our government as a whole, but I don't think they mishandled the. I don't think our lot have mishandled the support for businesses. Christ, I mean, between the furlough scheme and the grants and everything, they have given us billions to try and keep as many industries
Mhm.
going as possible. The events industry was always going to be hard. They were the first ones to close, and they still haven't even got close to reopening yet.
Yeah.
For big events. So it's going to be 3 years of no work. No government can prop that up. Do you know what I mean? That's
Yeah. No.
insanity. So, and the biggest issue with a lot of the events companies was that most of our employees are contractors. So they have had to go off and get new work because they weren't, they couldn't be furloughed because they're contractors. So they've had to go and get new contracts, and a lot of them work in
Mhm.
other industries now. So even when it does come back, there isn't the personnel anymore. There isn't the businesses sitting there ready to go on these events. There's not a lot left. So, and it will take years for these things to come back. And
Yeah.
a lot of big events like CitizenCon and stuff, that's a year of planning to get those events to actually happen. There is so much to do for those events, and they're amazing. But yeah, it's yeah, breathing back. Yes, the
Yeah.
cosplay
No,
was
right.
amazing. I mean, yeah, the next CitizenCon, physical CitizenCon, will hopefully be next year. One assumes
Fingers
LA.
crossed.
I guess they'll go back to where they were
Oh, yeah.
before.
I think. Oh, yeah. I think it'll have to be LA.
I think it will. I think they even next year. I don't know how an event in Europe will work because there's no guarantee that there'll be cross-border travel easily.
Mhm.
So at least if it's in the US, even if no one's allowed in, at least the US, there's enough people in the US to do the event without bringing in a lot of fans from abroad. Whereas in Europe, no matter what country you pick, there aren't really enough of us in any of the countries other than maybe
Mhm.
Germany. I mean, Germany obviously sold out
Maybe.
Germany, but if you're assuming Squadron 42 launch, really next year, a bit soon, isn't it? Uh, I don't know. So that's interesting.
Nobody knows.
I would imagine they'll want to launch Squadron in the UK. I would think, because that's where the Squadron office is, but perhaps that doesn't really matter. With Chris coming over to clip all you like, don't they? They tell me nothing. If you've learnt anything from this evening, it'll be that we get exactly 2 weeks' notice for everything. It's just like
Exactly.
Yeah, and we get
Mhm.
told so like, oh, by the way, we need a dragonfly. How long you got? Oh, okay. Cool, I'll get right on that.
Exactly.
We are literally the last to know anything. But they can do it in Frankfurt, Manchester too. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
you could sort of do it in lots of places at once, I guess. But that's even more planning. Yeah, that's the thing. Chris is
Mhm.
moving to Manchester, back to Manchester. He's from Manchester, but
Yeah.
he's moving back to Manchester to finish Squadron over here. So you wonder whether they'd launch. I think where the event is going to be more COVID determined by anything else. I don't think they'll have a choice in it. I think it'll just be the most practical place for them to use. And they probably won't make that decision until they absolutely have to. But I really hope there's a physical event again next year. I really like somewhere. I really hope
Me
there will be.
too.
Um,
I They're always the greatest events and have the most fun. So
Exactly. I obviously would like it to be in Manchester again, please. CIG, if you're listening, because it's 3 hours down the road. It's a lot more
so
convenient.
much easier.
So much easier.
Yes.
I don't really want to travel to LA. It seems to always be on fire, which seems impractical. It's impractical to do an event when you're on fire. Manchester,
Agreed.
very rarely on fire.
Lots of rain.
Well, but not flooded either. I mean, it's not like Frankfurt's underwater and LA's on fire. Manchester seems to be the best place to do these events. Come on, people.
Seems reasonable.
You can guaranteed drizzle. But guaranteed to not be extreme weather is the British mentality. It's going to be fucking miserable, but you won't die. And that's. For personal reasons, I would love Frankfurt. Do you live in Frankfurt, by any chance? I love Frankfurt. I don't get me wrong, I love Germany. I did more events in Germany when I was doing events than did in Britain, because all the huge cool events are in Germany. I love doing events in Germany, and I have no problem about doing Star Citizen events in Germany because I can drive there too. I don't like America because I can't get in a truck and drive there. That's my big issue. Things have to be air freighted and it's a fucking pain in the ass. Somewhere in Yorkshire would be good. I agree, Ewan. As I am from Yorkshire, you can't have too much stuff in Yorkshire.
Indeed.
I'm trying to think where. I mean, we could we could go to Hull. I mean, that's a great dive. That's where I grew up. So there's no worse place in the world. So why not do it there? Apart from that, I don't think there's a big event venue there. It would be the only issue. I mean, that's it. To be honest, I think I think genuinely Manchester Central is an amazing venue for CitizenCon. I think UK should stay there. Because we were in the little bit to the side. Do you know what I mean? When we were out there, we were in the little ancillary rooms off the side. We were not in the main bit of that. There's some decent venues in Leeds actually. I quite like Leeds as a place as well. But no, Manchester makes sense. It also makes sense because their office is in Manchester, and then potentially their new office will actually be in Manchester rather than Wilmslow. So, and there's a surprising amount of logistical sense having the event near the actual near the office, because so much stuff has to come from the office. All the computers, all the staff, all the things. It's I see, that's interesting. Manchester was good. I think it was the best one that. I think it was better than Austin. I think it was better than. I think they have got better every time. I mean, numbers wise, Frankfurt was only 670 people. And then Austin was 1,500.
Austin was 1,500. Yep.
1,500, and then Manchester was 2,500.
Oh, wow!
But interestingly. Was it 2,000? I can't remember. I mean, them plus them and all the rest of it.
Right.
The Austin venue was actually not that much bigger than the Frankfurt venue. But the problem with or the advantage of Austin was it was going to be nice weather. You're going to be outside, so that huge bit outside where all the food vans were and where the Dragonfly was and everything, that was more venue effectively. You couldn't have done that event at the Long Centre if you weren't allowed outside. Whereas if you're doing an event in Manchester, you've got to assume you're not going outside a lot. Like fucking snowing, or just rain. So it's got to be a big enough venue that you don't need to leave. So it needed to be a much bigger venue than Austin to get the same number of people in. Gloria Theatre was not the best choice. You are right there. Gloria Theatre was an awful, awful venue. So the Gloria Theatre was where we did the event. So the post Gamescom live playthrough where the Idrises had their battle. And it was a tiny little venue, like an old theatre in the middle of Cologne. People queued for hours outside, way past the deadline. There was no disabled toilet there, which was because it was like down a spiral staircase, and all the devs were in the basement of this thing. All the rigs were down there, and it was 7,000 degrees in this
Oh my
basement.
gosh.
We had to run a series of fans and ducting because there was all the PCs down there and no ventilation whatsoever. It was horrendous.
Oh
How
my
they
god.
survived, I do not know. And they were in there for a day and a half, and
Trial of
it
fire.
was unpleasant. Imagine putting 40 QA guys and a few girls, bless them, in a shipping container sized room with 70 PCs
Oh my god.
and no airflow at all underground for 2 days straight. It was
Man.
vile. It really was. They weren't my say. It was vile. Yeah, and it was hot. It was a fairly hot year, and it was hideous. Absolutely hideous.
Oh my god, I
Yeah.
can't imagine.
Yeah, it was dreadful. It really was. But then we got through it, and to say all the venues since the Gloria Theatre have been a lot nicer. The Gloria Theatre was also tiny. I mean, at a push, you could fit 400 people in it. At a push, it was a little old theatre.
Yeah. Remember the events in Boston when they were going to PAX, and they had the little. So you'd have the Star Citizen event on Saturday, and then PAX would be during the weekend. And so I went to a couple of those, 2014 and 2015.
Nice.
So that was really fun.
I wasn't into the game back then. I'd never experienced. I don't think we had a lot of events over, certainly in the UK. The UK has always been slower. I mean, BritzenCon has the 2-3 times I did BritzenCon was amazing, but not many fans turned up. Maybe 100
Yeah.
people. When you had,
Oh,
I mean,
wow.
like I think we were at 2018, and I think. Was it 2019 was the last one? I can't remember. Must have been 2019 because we launched Greycat PTV model. That was where we
Okay.
launched it, and there was 100 devs and like 120 people, like fans. There's like nearly a dev a
It
person.
was a one-on-one, yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. And it's just like it was amazing, but like why
That's
wasn't
awesome,
there
yeah.
400 people there?
Yeah.
And it's just like as many people came from Europe than that came from the UK. And it's like, this is Manchester. It's the easiest place to get to. You know, it's like, why? Why weren't more people going? It's a crime. And then you've got Paraverse, which had twice as many people and like 5 devs, because they obviously had to send devs to Paris to that event. So they like CIG sent like half a dozen. I think Brian Chambers rocked up because he's amazing like that, and we were in the same boat as him because Paraverse was like 3 days after Austin CitizenCon. So we packed up Austin, flew back straight to Paris. Bob had driven all of our set pieces and stuff that we had left that hadn't gone to Austin. He drove them to Paris and set them up, and we flew in and literally walked into the venue, and it was equivalent of our 3 in the morning by that point because we hadn't slept and got through Paraverse, and it was amazing. It was good, and I say it was more. There was way more people there than at BritzenCon.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah.
I did Wyborg. I have one of my posters signed by the one and only Mike Jones.
Oh, nice.
Networking guy. Yeah.
Oh,
I think the only 2 people, there was 2 of us in the back, and all the other people are up in the front signing, and there's Mike Jones standing there like, dude, you want to sign my poster? He's like, all right. It was cool.
No, it's been far too long since we've had Bar Citizens and events and stuff.
Oh, I agree.
That's such a big part of the community as well. Is the events and the even just the little fan events and stuff. And it's just like I think we're all missing it, like really bad missing it.
100%. Yeah.
You know, I think it'd be nice when we get back to that and we can sort of do that again. Right. Okay. Let's sign off. It's been a lovely evening.
Target.
We're only an hour over where we're supposed to be. That's fine. That's fine.
That's fairly reasonable.
It's fairly reasonable. Who can we throw a raid to?
You want to do somebody who's doing Star Citizen or?
Yeah.
Aldo Brink. We got HC Vertigo.
Oh,
we got
HC Vertigo. I have a lot of respect for him.
Let's do Bert.
So yeah, we shall jump over there, say hi to him. Thank you all for joining us. It's been like ludicrously productive. I
know, right? This is
actually
awesome.
impressed with how much we actually got done in this
That actually is
rat's
doing
nest
something.
of insanity. It's been amazing.
I know, right?
So yeah, so say hi, and yeah, we shall see you Wednesday. Thank you very much for joining
thanks,
us, and then
everybody.
next Sunday, and then every Wednesday and Sunday until the end of time. Goodbye, folks.
End of time. Thanks, everyone. See ya.